ABC Sports presents the 1981 World Series. Live from Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, the New York Yankees against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Last night in Game 3, Ron Cey with a 2-out, 3-run home run in the first inning off Dave Righetti to give the Dodgers a quick 3-0 advantage. But the lead was short-lived. Fernando Valenzuela struggling early, and a home run by Rick Cerone in the third with a man on gave New York a 4-3 advantage. But the Dodgers came up with 2 in the 5th to go ahead. Then the Yankees ran themselves out of a possible big inning in the 8th. Ron Cey turning this Mercer bunt into a double play. Dodgers win the game 5-4. Yanks lead in the series 2-1. Today, Game 4. Dodger Stadium sold out again as the Dodgers try to get even in the series. And this ABC Sports presentation is brought to you by Lowenbrau. When you want the taste of a truly great beer, there's really only one. Tonight, let it be Lowenbrau. By Chevrolet, who invites you to see all the good things for 1982 at your local Chevy dealers. Chevy makes good things happen. By Gillette, makers of Good News and Swivel, the twin-blade disposable razors. Gillette puts 2 great shaves at your disposal. And by General Electric. GE makes products that make life easier and better. At GE, we bring good things to life. And hello again, everyone. I'm Al Michaels. Welcome to Dodger Stadium, Game 4. The Dodgers sort of like this script. Remember, they were down 2-0 in the divisional series and came from behind to beat Houston, down 2-1 against Montreal, beat the Expos in Montreal to advance to the World Series, down 2-1 now, and very confident as they try to even the series and in quest of their first World Championship since 1965. A crowd of more than 56,000 looking on at Dodger Stadium. Right now, let's join the PA announcer at Dodger Stadium, John Ramsey.
And now, to honor America, here to sing our national anthem is a great performer and a star of Days of Our Lives, Miss Gloria Loring.
Won't you please join me? Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Miss Gloria Loring. Thank you, Gloria. Ladies and gentlemen, the honor of throwing out the first ball today goes to a man who managed the Dodgers to 4 World Championships. Let's welcome Walter Alston.
Walter Alston, a man from Ohio, a great pocket pool player, a quiet man. He came in, took over the then Brooklyn Dodgers. Nobody knew much about him. What a job he did. He managed them to their first World Series title ever. It was in 1955. Remember? The Dodgers lost the first 2 games of that series. But in Game 1, there was an augury. Jackie Roosevelt Robinson stole home on Whitey Ford. Berra went crazy. We look at it from another angle. was in the ninth inning. The Dodgers were trailing 6-4. Did Berra tag him in time or not? But then, the final game, Game 7, the teams knotted at 3 apiece. Berra, Amorose, just inserted in place of Gilliam. To Reese, the relay to Hodges. McDougal doubled off. Martin had been in second. They were 2 on in the 6th inning, and the Yankees were trailing 2-0. Had Gilliam still been in there, he would not have been able to make the catch. Alston in the clubhouse, jubilant with the winning youngster, Johnny Padres. That's the way it was in 1955, and maybe the greatest memory for the man who threw out the first ball of the day, Walter Alston.
All you people in motion, here's a good notion.
The telephone credit card. The easy way to call.
Easier than carrying a whole lot of change. You get a monthly record of your calls.
Apply at your Bell business office for your free card.
Mrs. Wilson. Hi, Mom. It's the newest Mrs. Wilson.
All over the land, call soon as you can.
In just a jiffy, I can help make your GM car run cleaner, run longer, and save gasoline.
How, Mr. Goodrich?
Well, maybe it's time for a new set of genuine GM filters. To clean the oil, to clean the gasoline, to clean the 10,000 gallons of air your engine mixes with every gallon of gas.
Tall order.
And there's still time to check your wipers.
Keep that great GM feeling. That was fast, Mr. Goodrich. With genuine GM parts.
Before I use my head and feeties, I get the Edie's for my Wheaties.
Before a day of doing splitties, I get the Edie's for my Wheaties.
The Edie's for Wheaties, that undeniable, irresistible urge for the crispy, crunchy, whole wheat taste of the breakfast of champions.
Before I swing for the bleacher seaties, I get the Edie's for my Wheaties.
Part of your good breakfast.
Hi, I'm Chris Chambliss. You know, baseball is full of opportunities. In 1976, I had the opportunity to help the Yankees into the World Series, and this home run did it. Another place full of opportunities is the Army, where you can travel, learn a valuable skill, further your education, and get generous financial aid for post-service studies. So consider the Army, where you can be all that you can be.
Call this number toll-free or see your local Army representative. The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Starting lineup for the Yankees, Willie Randolph leading off. Batting second, Larry Milburn in the third spot. Hitless in the series, Dave Winfield. And then comes Reggie back in the lineup, and Gamble back in the lineup. And then the big hitter for the Yankees thus far, Bob Watson. Rick Cerrone with a hot bat last night. And Aurelio Rodriguez, Nettle still sideline. Rick Reuschel, a pretty good hitting pitcher. Al?
Defensively for the Dodgers, Steve Garvey, 2 hits last night and 5 in the series at first base. The second baseman, Davey Lopes. This infield has been together for 8 years now, since 1973. Bill Russell is the shortstop, and around at third, last night's offensive and defensive star for the Dodgers, Ron Cey. In the outfield for Los Angeles, Dusty Baker, who will be batting 5th in the order, dropping down from 3rd in left. Pedro Guerrero, again getting the start in center field. And around in right for the Dodgers, making his 3rd start in 4 games, is Rick Monday. Back of the plate and making his first start, though he did play last night, came in as a pinch hitter for Yeager and stayed in the game, Mike Scioscia. And on the mound for the Dodgers is Bob Welch, who made 23 starts and no relief appearances during the regular season, and no starts and 4 relief appearances in postseason play. Welch has not made a start since the 3rd of October, which was the day before the regular season ended. And here he is in an attempt to get the Dodgers even in the series at 2 apiece. Willie Randolph to lead things off for the Yankees, then Larry Milburn and Dave Winfield. Randolph does not have a hit in the World Series. However, last night he reached base safely 3 times, walking on each occasion, as Valenzuela went all the way, yielding 7 walks. But a gutty and gritty performance by Fernando, and the Dodgers winning it dramatically 5-4. So Welch looking in, and here we go. Randolph taking high for a ball. National League umpire working back of the plate, Doug Harvey. Randolph bluffs a bunt. Looks at a strike. We've got Rich Garcia of the American League at first, Dick Stello of the National at second, Larry Barnett, American, at third, Nick Colosi of the National League down the line in left, and Terry Cooney down the line in right. He was back at the plate last night. 2-1 on Randolph. Welch, 6'3", 190-pounder, 24 years old. Born and raised in Detroit, as Randolph goes the other way to right field and in for a base hit. Takes an erratic hop, gets by Monday. Randolph with good speed around second, on his way to third, and he's in there standing up. So Randolph getting a fortuitous bounce as Monday moved over into the corner to try to cut it off, and he winds up at third.
And you see the reason for this bounce is on the Bermuda grass, which is different than most fields, with the exception of Texas in the American League. The ball comes back on you. Kenny Landreau said that it's a big difference playing here in Dodger Stadium. Monday knows he can't catch. The ball goes over, and the ball takes that reverse spin, goes right by him. As you said, Randolph has excellent speed, easily into third base.
This is the ballpark where the ball takes funny bounces.
Well, we saw that last night, but that was primarily in the infield.
Larry Milburn, the batter. Only Say at third is in. Everybody else is back. And the pitch missing, ball one. 1-0. There's Say in the cutout at third. A ground ball to any of the other Dodger infielders would produce a Yankee run. 2-0 the count on Milburn.
And there you saw the high fastball. Bob Welch, more or less a power pitcher, throws a lot of fastballs, has a good slider and a curveball. Strikes out at just about 6 a game. Pretty good control, under 3 walks per 9 innings, but has not started a game in 3 weeks, and you wonder if that's going to have some effect today.
Out of play, and the count is 2-1. Welch has not pitched very much, even though he's made 4 appearances in postseason action. He's worked only 2 2/3 innings, and you'll recall it was last Monday in Montreal. Welch came out of the bullpen, threw 1 pitch to Jerry White with the tying and winning runs aboard for Montreal, and got White to ground out to Davey Lopes, and the Dodgers headed for New York. 2-1 pitch is lined down the line in right field. It's a fair ball. The Yankees lead it 1-0, and it will be a double for Milburn. Man reaching out, but the ball staying in play as Monday gets it back in. Milburn coming in today hitting .406 in postseason play, and that'll go up a few notches.
And here again, as he did on Willie Randolph, the leadoff hitter, he gets behind 2-1, throws a fastball in the middle of the plate. Not too successful when you get behind major league hitters, especially in the first inning, and he hasn't pitched for a while. And again, you'll see a fastball right down the middle. Milburn most likely looking for a fastball. Pulls it in the corner.
1-0 Yankees. Milburn atoning somewhat for the transgression last night on the bases, and Dave Winfield stands in, hitless in the series, and Socha has to block it in the dirt. 1-0. On deck and making his first appearance in the World Series, Reggie Jackson.
Winfield hitting only .103 against right-handed pitching during postseason play. Against lefties, he's hit .429.
Well, his job here is not to drive the runner in, to get him to third base. And that's why you see Welch trying to throw him a breaking ball, hope that he'll hit it to the left side and keep the runner at second.
Welch behind on the count, 2-0 with Milburn at second and nobody out first inning. Yankees jumping on top 1-0. Lopes at second, pushed over toward the middle. Outfield playing Winfield to pull. Inside again for ball 3. 3-0. A look at the Dodger defensive alignment. You see Lopes playing almost up the middle at second. And that helps to cut down on Milburn's lead. And in the bullpen, the Dodgers waste no time. Dave Goltz, who was up early last night, is up early today. 3-0 on Winfield. And he's aboard. So a triple, a double, and a walk, and the first visit from Ron Perinoski, the Dodger pitching coach. It's interesting that both managers opted not to go with their Game 1 starter today. In recent World Series, we've quite often seen a pitcher work in Game 1 and also in Game 4 with the off day, but we'll go back to the Game 1 starters tomorrow when it will be Jerry Royce for the Dodgers and Ron Guidry for the Yankees. And if you project ahead, if you go to a 7th game and they stay in the current rotation, you could have one game for the World Championship on Wednesday, matching again the 2 rookies that we had last night, Valenzuela and Righetti.
In the meantime, there is Reggie. Remains to be seen how much, if any, he's rusted at the plate because of his absence. He was swinging well. Got 2 big home runs in the Milwaukee series. And similar to the confrontation we depicted in the pregame show. They were 1-1 back in '78. 1 strikeout, 1 home run.
1-0 on Jackson.
Each man remembers it vividly.
Reggie lifetime 9 home runs in World Series play, and 5 of them have come in this ballpark. Of the 9, 8 have been hit against the Dodgers. The other 3 that weren't hit here, of course, were hit one night in New York.
Well, he's faced 4 hitters and he's been 2-0 on all of them. And I always felt that if you're going to try to get out of a jam, you'd want a guy like Jackson up there, because if you're going to be able to strike a guy out, Reggie, of course, is known for having a lot of strikeouts.
Remembering back to the pregame show, Reggie went to his knees with that swing and miss, just as he did in '78.
And here you see actually a ball, but Reggie is not up there to walk. Goes for the high one, similar, like you said, back in 1978. And I have to think if he hits a ground ball, you're not going to see the Reggie Jackson that you normally see, a guy with pretty good speed because of the muscle tear.
2-1 pitch. He goes the other way into left field for a base hit. They will stop Milburn at third, and the bases are loaded as the throw comes into Say.
Interestingly, Milburn kept looking at the ball, looking at the left fielder. He ran tentatively. Last night's experience has made him very careful.
Well, that and the fact that there is nobody out, and the last thing you'd want to do.
Naturally true, sure.
Have somebody thrown out the plate, but you were right. And Reggie, he throws him a curveball, 2-1. He just goes with it. Reggie known for his power to all fields. And Milburn's not taking any chances.
Meanwhile, Welch is done as Lasorda visits the mound, and he'll go to the bullpen. So Bob Welch gives up the triple to Randolph, the double to Milburn to make it 1-0. Walks Winfield, the base hit by Jackson, and he's gone. Lasorda wasting no time, goes to the bullpen, and the Dodgers will go with Dave Goltz with the bases loaded and nobody out in the first.
Why is our front-wheel drive Chevy Citation such a hero with so many Americans? Let's ask Family Man.
Citation? Well, it's like having 2 cars in one. Back here, it's got wagon-like cargo space, which converts quickly into a roomy 5-passenger sedan.
But I only count 4 of you. Why do you need Citation's room for 5?
Why don't you ask Stork Man?
Now get bigger savings on new 1981 Citations.
Here's 2 good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Alex, I was just coming out to look for you greenhorns.
We took a little detour.
Little detour? Little detour for what?
Well, we wanted to say thank you for putting up with us these last couple of weeks.
So we stopped at the store and picked up some Lone Brown. By golly, you city folks are all right.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Low and Brown.
We had such a good time. We're coming back next year. Okay, but don't tell my horses that.
Tonight, a male stripper gets things steamy on the Love Boat. Then, an amateur magician conjures up the trick of a lifetime.
Alan, what is your desire?
Fantasy Island.
He sits there alone in disconsolate with what he's been through. When he told me yesterday that Lasorda had privately told him he would start today, He was himself doubtful of himself. He said, "It's been so long since I've pitched, I'm afraid I may have rusted out." And that inner fear manifested itself with today's terrible disappointment. What a human story. But there is another story.
Dave Goltz, who had some decent seasons at Minnesota, including a 20 victory year in 1977. The Dodgers shelled out a lot of money to sign Goltz as a free agent. Prior to last season, he was a disappointing 7-11 in 1980, and then this year, 2-7 his mark. He won his first 2 decisions and then lost his last 7. So Goltz, who pitched in Game 1 on Tuesday night, he faced one batter, got Lou Piniella to pop out to end the Yankee 4th inning. Comes on here with the Yankees in front 1-0. The bases loaded. The Yankees have Milburn at third, Dave Winfield at second, and Reggie Jackson at first. And with nobody out, Oscar Gamble coming up.
Oscar
Gamble without much success in his prior appearances against Goltz.
And that's interesting because Oscar is a low ball hitter and Dave is a low ball pitcher. And I was talking to Dave, and of course he's very frustrated after coming over from the American League. He said it was kind of like a test. He'd throw his sinker, and he thought he'd get some low strikes in the National League, and he wouldn't get too many pitches. And coming over with a big contract, and I guess everybody having big expectations, the last 2 years, as you said, has really been a struggle for him.
0-1 the count. Gamble, the starter in Game 2 in the series. He was 0 for 2 on Wednesday. Dodger infield double play depth, except for Say, even with a bag at third, and the count is 1-1. And the Dodgers with more activity is Tom Niedenfuhr, who pitched very well in long relief in Game 1, throwing back of Goltz. One pitch is low. Lasorda, of course, cannot afford to wait today. Pivotal game for the Dodgers. You don't want to go down 3-1.
Right now he has to take first things first. Pray that they avoid a blowout here in the first inning.
Crowd very quiet. 2 balls, 1 strike, the count on Gamble. Big gap in left center for Oscar. And pitch outside for ball 3. 3-1.
Well, as we said earlier when Oscar played, he's up there to hit home runs, but he has an excellent eye, and he's looking for a ball in the middle of the plate. He's run the count to 3-1. And a successful pitcher has to get his breaking ball over when he's behind the count.
Gamble popping it up into shallow center field. Lopes is going out. Here comes Guerrero, and it's Pedro finding the sun, making the catch, and no advance by the runners.
Big pitch, big out.
So Pedro Guerrero, who has had his troubles in center field in the past couple of years at Dodger Stadium, in the daytime in particular, that ball hit a little too far to be ruled an infield fly, despite the fact Lopes went out for it. 1 gone.
If he can get the double play now, the lift that this would give the Dodgers would be just tremendous.
Well, and he's the man to do it, Howard.
When in the American League, Jim, he had good success, or reasonable success, against the Yankees.
Well, he's a low ball pitcher, and almost all the mistakes Valenzuela made, Jerry Royce made, have been on balls up in the strike zone. And if you're going to get Watson out, you have to keep the ball down.
Bob Watson's had a great series, 6 for 11, including 2 home runs, and he's hit .410 in postseason play. He'll be followed by Rick Cerrone on deck. 1-0 Yanks, bases loaded, 1 out, top of the first. Watson hitting it high in the air to left field. Dusty Baker lining it up with Milburn tagging. That's the second out, and the throw home is out in front of the plate, but the throw back to first not in time. So the Yankees lead it 2-0. Bob Watson getting home the run. Baker with a strong throw, but out in front of the plate. And then Sosa trying to get Jackson going back to first.
Well, it's a high fastball, but it runs in. Doesn't get all of it, just far enough to score Milbourne. Baker makes a strong throw, and I don't know what Reggie's thinking about, but again, heads up play by the Dodger catchers. They're excellent arms, both Yeager and Socha.
So Jackson getting back. If you're wondering, by the way, had they gotten Jackson, the run still would have scored. It would have been a double play, but not a forced double play. 2-0 with 2 outs. Cerrone at the plate. Fouling it away. 0-1. Cerrone last night with a home run and a double off the top of the low fence down the left field line. So Rick almost hitting 2 out last night, and that would have matched his total for the entire regular season. Breaking pitch in there, and the count is 0-2. 2-0 Yanks with Winfield at second, Jackson at first in the first. Cerrone hitting it toward the middle, but backhanded by Lopes. Davey does it himself, and that's that for the Yankees. In the first inning, the Yankees sending 7 men to the plate, coming up with 2 runs, 3 hits, disposing of Bob Welch, and 2 men left on. So after a half inning in game number 4, 2-0 Yankees.
And now the starting lineup for the Dodgers. Davey Lopes leading off. Batting second, Bill Russell. Moving up to bat third, Steve Garvin. Moving up to bat cleanup, Ron Say. Having troubles at the plate, now batting fifth, Dusty Baker. Then Rick Mundy, Pedro Guerrero, Mike Socha, and the new pitcher now, Dave Goltz.
Defensively for the Yankees, Bob Watson driving in the run with a sacrifice fly. At first base, Willie Randolph, who got it started with the triple and the errant hop in right field, is at second. The shortstop, Larry Milbourne, who scored Randolph with the double. And around at third, again with Nettles out of the lineup today, it's Aurelio Rodriguez, who had 2 hits last night. In the outfield, Oscar Gamble. In left, Dave Winfield is moving over to center. Winfield, of course, at San Diego, played mostly right field, though he did see some action in center. He's not a total stranger to that position. And around in right, Reggie Jackson. Back of the plate for New York is Rick Cerrone. And on the mound is a man who is no stranger to the Dodgers, Rick Reuschel, spending his entire career in the National League with the Chicago Cubs until coming to the Yankees just prior to the strike.
First, as we looked for a moment at Reuschel and now at Lopes, Jim, I think it must be admitted that Goltz did a very efficient job. They got out of that very cheaply.
Well, that he did. He came in under difficult conditions, especially with the fan reaction here. I think he's one of the few Dodgers that they boo. And came in and made a good pitch to Watson and just pitched his way out of that jam.
As one expert in defensive outfield deficiencies, Jim, in your long career with Baltimore, don't you think maybe the Yankees will be weaker defensively in the outfield if Gamble at left and Dave in the less familiar, though he's a great athlete, center field position?
Well, no doubt. He's played a great left field for him, and I said during the second game that the reason I think they're so much better this year is because of their speed in the outfield, and half their speed is sitting on the bench today in Jerry Mumford.
Davey Lopes leading off, takes a strike. Reuschel with a breaking pitch hit on 1 hop to Rodriguez at third. And the Dodger leadoff man is gone. 1 out in the first inning. And that brings up Bill Russell. Russell 3 for 12 in the series. 2 of the hits coming last night. 233 his mark for the regular season.
And if you're going to describe Rick Reuschel, I would say he's almost like a right-handed Tommy John. He throws the sinker, never throws the ball the same speed, changes speeds on his fastball, has a curveball that Lopes hit to third for the first out, has a little bit of a slider, and just keeps the ball down in the strike zone.
He's a quick workman. His roly-poly appearance, as I suggested, is utterly deceptive. A good runner, a good fielder at his position.
Good breaking pitch, and Reuschel with a count 1-2.
He pitched the last game during the regular season against us in Baltimore, and on our radar gun was throwing somewhere in the high 70s. So he's not exactly going to throw the ball by you. Kind of a departure from last night with Rigetti and Ron Guidry in the first game.
1-2 pitch is inside. They appealed at first and don't get the call. And the count 2-2. That last pitch was clocked at 85, which is close to the temperature today. Full count, 3-2. The Dodgers with a lineup change today, so Garvey is on deck, moving up from 4 to 3 as Reuschel hits a chopper to Rodriguez. Aurelio's strong throw is in time, so Rodriguez has handled both Lopes and Reuschel, and there are 2 down in the first inning with Steve Garvey coming up.
Reuschel was 10 and 11 with a 3.43 ERA against the Dodgers in his 10 seasons with the Cubs. Remembering where the Cubs finished in those 10 seasons, that's not too bad, James.
Well, also considering Wrigley Field, I think I've never pitched there, but you want to have a nightmare for a pitcher, pitch in Wrigley Field when the wind is blowing out, and I think that's probably why most of the Cub pitchers have developed sinker balls. Your only chance there is to throw the ground ball.
Garvey takes outside. It's also why some of the Cub statistics are not particularly indicative of the type of pitcher that would be working for Chicago. Your earned run average would have to suffer pitching half your games in that
park. It's like in our league, it's hard to really sometimes get a true indication of what statistics mean in Fenway Park, either for a hitter or a pitcher.
Garvey goes to right center field for a base hit. Reggie Jackson with a long run to cut it off and get it back in. So Garvey is now 6 for 12 as he continues to sting the ball in the series.
And here, if you're wondering about the health of Reggie, gets to the ball nicely, makes a strong throw, a little bit off target, but Garvey not wanting to be thrown out, stays at first.
So the Yankees ahead 2-0. Bottom of the first, 2 down. Ron Say. A home run last night in the first inning. He had a perfect night last night. 2 walks, a single in addition to the home run. And of course the great defensive play on Mercer's bunt in the 8th. Reuschel's had his number over the years.
Trouble with statistics like those is they can change abruptly.
2-0 down on Say.
He was one happy fella today. Everybody around him, he was enjoying the delicious afterglow of his performance last night.
Say lining it to center field, but right at Winfield, who has no problem with his first chance of the afternoon. The Dodgers are done in the first, and we'll go to the second with the Yankees ahead 2-0.
We fill your world with light, get you through the night. GE, we bring good things to life. We let you live it again. Give a hand to a friend. We bring you closer, closer to the ones you love. GE, we bring good things to live in. We bring good things to life.
Looking for the right fields to invest in. And the right investments in those fields can be frustrating. That's why Merrill Lynch does the groundwork with research. To seek out the best investments, Merrill Lynch brought together the best researchers. And it is turning up the unseen or overlooked that makes us what we are. Merrill Lynch, a breed apart.
Hershey's Big Block is so thick, you just might have a problem. Hershey's Big Block. One big, thick block of delicious Hershey's chocolate.
And now, a word from our candidate.
Hershey's Big Blocks. So thick, so good.
Honey, look what I got. A Hershey Big Block. It's so thick.
The great spectacle of the New York City Marathon. 16,000 attack 26 miles of New York pavement with defending champ Alberto Salazar promising a world record tomorrow on ABC.
The New York City Marathon. Start to finish coverage tomorrow. 16,000 expected entrants. I guess you're out here, Coach, so you're not going to be there tomorrow.
No, but I got an old friend in the same business as that man, Sugar Ray Robinson. All those great fights. Ray, I was with Carmen Basilio in Philadelphia a few days ago. He remembers you well. Like LaMotta, like all of the others, inch for inch, pound for pound, as great as has ever fought. Rodriguez.
Aurelio to lead off, followed by Reuschel and Randolph. The 8, 9, and 1 hitters in the second inning. Yankees ahead, 2-0. Goltz in relief of Welch. It's line just foul. Outside third, and that will provoke Joe Altobelli, who for a moment looked like he was headed for the third base umpire, Larry Barnett, in a beeline, but he backs off.
Well, Larry pointed to the mark, and you could see where the ball landed down there. Obviously foul. Not by much, as you said.
You know who's running in that marathon, Al? Ingemar Johansson.
Is that Thunderbolt, huh?
Tunda in the right.
The 0-1 to Rodriguez. Ran it in on him. The count is 0-2.
There you saw that good sinker that Goltz can throw. And he's the type of pitcher, if he keeps the ball down, that could be very successful, as you said, against a club like the Yankees, Howard.
One and 2 on Rodriguez. Aurelio playing, of course, in place of Greg Nettles last night. Rodriguez 2 for 4. And again, Gold's keeping an in on him, and the count is even at 2-2.
Well, the 2 hits he got last night were out over the plate, and if you're going to try to get Aurelio out consistently, you have to get him out on the inside part of the plate. No better place to go with 2 strikes.
Fouled away, and the count holds. 5th game here tomorrow. And it will be Ron Guidry and Jerry Royce. Rematch of Game 1 if a 6th game is necessary. Tuesday, Yankee Stadium. Figure to be Bert Hooton and Tommy John. Fouled away. And as we mentioned before, you project to a 7th game, and wouldn't that be something? Valenzuela and Righetti for the world title.
Interestingly, the Yankees liken Valenzuela to Larry Gura. But old-timers, knowing that Valenzuela is only 20, talk of him with tones usually reserved, because that's what they expect him to become, reserved for people like the greatest. There he is with the bubble gum. Carl Hubble, Lawrence Bond, great left-handed screwball exponents of the past.
2-2 pitch. Rodriguez chopping it foul. Into the Dodger dugout, and the count holds.
That's going to take a lot of doing, Jim, as you know. A lot of years, a lot of consistency, a lot of proving.
It certainly is. 1 year does not make a career. I don't mean to downgrade him in any moment, but you see a lot of pitchers come up, and second time around the hitters adjust. You have to adjust, and he's shown the ability to do that this year.
Kept it in there, and down he goes.
That's the young man who said he was not nervous yesterday, disappointed in himself. He said he just couldn't get any pop on his fastball.
That's probably from not pitching, as he said, for 7 days. It's interesting that both clubs had pitching problems. The Dodgers, because they had to go away from their 5-man rotation and to go to a 4-man rotation, or really 3 in this World Series. And the Yankees having their pitchers over-rested. And I think you saw the effect last night, both on Valenzuela and Righetti.
Rick Reuschel at the plate. Fouling it straight back. And right below us. Where were you, Coach?
He was gone.
I was prepared to catch it.
Yeah.
Catch it where?
You were prepared for the parking lot last I looked.
I remember getting clubbed on the chest by Butch Hobson while Euchre sat next to me, the former great second-string catcher, lying beneath the table and saying, "Get it, Coach, get it."
Well, he didn't have his mask on.
No balls, 2 strikes, the count on Reuschel.
I wonder how he told Lee Majors last night, fed him the line about the 2 home runs he hit against Koufax.
Didn't you see the cue cards down 2 rows?
Sandy Koufax here again today throughout the first ball last night. Also pitched batting practice before the game last night. Breaking pitch in there for called, strike 3. So a couple of strikeouts, and Goltz has come out of the bullpen to set down the 5 men he has faced. Dave, by the way, in the American League with Minnesota, had a 1-4 lifetime mark against the Yankees. But he's been no mystery here in the National League over the past 2 seasons.
One and 4, you say?
Lifetime. While with the Twins.
Yeah, but that's deceptive too. I saw a couple of those games and he pitched very well.
Randolph tries to bunt his way aboard, and the count 0-1.
Sandy Koufax. He's come a long way from Lafayette High School in Brooklyn. University of Cincinnati. Silver thatched now.
But trim.
Beautifully
Golfer's tan.
trimmed.
Yes. I mean, having pitched the last game against him, it was amazing to see him throw as hard as he did and then have that be his last game.
0-2 the count. 15 years ago. 1966.
Is it that long?
Tell you what Goltz is doing. He's adding to the lift he gave the Dodgers in the first inning, when he kept the Yankees within reach, within bounds.
1-2 on Randolph.
He gets in a groove. He can be this way all day.
Randolph fighting it off. Count holding 1-2.
Moving it around there, Jim.
Well, the ball is
Back
running.
in. Yep.
Right, exactly. And the kind of ball he throws, it bores in on the right-handed hitter, and he can start it on the inside part of the plate, and it's going to move a good 6 or 8 inches. Tough ball to hit fair. If you do, you hit it on your fist. And you can't hit that ball too hard.
Randolph hitting a fly ball to right center field, deeper than Guerrero first thought, and gone. So Pedro misjudged it, but it didn't matter, as it carries to right center, and Randolph, who tripled in the first, hits a home run here in the second.
Out of nowhere, just as we were talking about how good Goltz was looking.
Willie Randolph hit only 2 homers during the regular season, but of course he had 1 against the A's in Game 3 in the American League Championship Series. And now another here.
Well, we were also talking about how he got the ball inside. That one is right in the middle of the plate. And here's the difference between Dodger Stadium and Yankee Stadium. The ball just flies here. And you don't see Randolph going out over the right center field fence too often.
But we did mention, Jim, that right center is his power out.
Well, that's where he drives the ball. But if you were going over a scattering report of Willie Randolph, you would say
wouldn't look for home runs.
No. You would say he has double power. He did happen to hit one off me a few years ago.
Is that unique?
No, not at all. Not at all. Rick Mundy said that he has never seen the ball carry the way it did last night. In the first 3 innings, maybe that accounts for some of the balls going as far as they did. That and the fact that they were bad pitches.
0-2 the count on Milburn, who takes up high. 1-2. 2 out, bases empty in the second inning. The Yankees ahead 3-0. And the 1-2 pitch. Hit foul off to the right. Winfield waiting on deck. You mentioned last night, Jim, they moved the fences in a couple of years back here, and that's accounted for more home runs, obviously. But they used to say, remember years ago, that the ball didn't carry here. Everybody used to talk about
that's
the
the
heavy air thing.
Exactly. Well, I think that's why Rick Mundy said that after the third inning, the ball didn't carry as well, because we did have some fog last night, and the air does get a little bit heavier. I know in 1966, when we played in the World Series out here, even in the daytime, this was what is known as a pitcher's ballpark. You cannot say that about this park anymore.
2-2 pitch is chopped to the right side. Davey Lowe waits for it, throws him out. In the second inning for the Yankees, they stretch their advantage with a run, one hit, Randolph's homer. Nobody left on. At the end of 1.5, it's 3-0 Yanks.
I get all kinds in here. Some like it straight, some with a twist, but they all want the best disposable razor. If they like it straight, it's Gillette's Good News razor, the Twin Blade Classic. If they like it with a twist, it's Gillette's Swivel razor, twin blades plus a moving head that hugs your face. Both shave better than any single blade disposable.
Good News or Swivel. Gillette puts 2 great shaves at your disposal.
So what'll it be, straight or with a twist?
Copier companies have been introducing small copiers with a very interesting claim.
And it's just as good as a Xerox.
It's just as good as a Xerox. Then one day...
This compact copier is very versatile. It even copies on your own letterhead. It's inexpensive, but best of all...
I know. It's just as good as a Xerox.
It is a Xerox.
The Xerox 2600, the compact copier that really is just as good as a Xerox.
This is radiator rust. It's building up after just 10,000 miles on weak, neglected antifreeze. Now look at a radiator protected with new improved Prestone 2, same 10,000 miles. Quite a difference. Introducing the new silicone silicate formula Prestone to lock out rust and corrosion in all metals. Now it's even stronger for better aluminum protection. New improved Prestone 2. The best seller just got better. No wonder we're #1.
Very quickly, a final score from South Bend, Indiana, where Southern Cal has wrapped up a 14-7 victory over Notre Dame. Notre Dame missed 2 field goals and fumbled the ball away in scoring territory late in the football game. The winner for Southern Cal, a 26-yard run by Todd Spencer with just over 4 minutes to go. Now back to the Dodgers.
Dusty Baker up. Jim Lampley just told our viewers that the Trojans of Southern California have defeated the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame 14-7. Coach Faust having a very difficult initial year.
Dusty Baker leading things off in the bottom of the second inning. 1-0 the count. Baker, Monday, and Guerrero. The Yankees on top 3-0. One and one.
And there you saw the sign of a good pitcher. We saw Welch come out here, get behind the hitters, throw fastballs. He's no longer with us. Reuschel went 1-0 through a breaking ball, as he just did there. And that's a lot of difference between sometimes a veteran pitcher and a young pitcher. Welch would be characterized as a power pitcher, and here you see count 1-1. Nice slow curveball in the outside corner.
Comes inside this time, missing in the count 2-2. Reuschel spending his entire major league career with the Cubs prior to mid-season. Over to the Yankees. Rick, from Illinois originally, and still lives there, and had played with the Cubs, and has expressed a desire to maybe return to the Midwest.
To play?
Yep. Fouled away.
He wants to leave a pennant one?
Well, I'd enjoy the more pastoral surroundings of Illinois. Two-two pitch is just outside. Ball 3. Last night's
Yesterday's hero. Dusty Baker, by the way, has a good career hitting record, .338 against Reuschel. Maybe this is the man to get out of his slump again.
Line, but right at Milburn, who cradles it for the out. One gone in the second inning.
Batting second, number 16, right fielder.
A lot of times on knuckleballs, excuse me, on a line drive, the ball will knuckle, and Milbourne did what he should do, get right in front of the ball.
So one away. And Rick Monday, his figures during the regular season.
Said he's ready to become a broadcaster. He'll be ready to work in about a month, Al.
Well, he'll work in the offseason, but I'm wondering about whether he'll continue that when next season begins. As he lines one to left field, and Gamble angles himself against the sun to make the catch. 2 down. Remember, a couple of years ago, it looked like Rick's career might be over with the Achilles tear. Played sparingly in 1980 and again this season. But coming through in the clutch for the Dodgers with the dramatic home run, of course, on Monday to vault them into the series. Pedro Guerrero fouling it away, and the count is 0-1.
I think we should note that the last 3 batters have hit the ball on the nose off Reuschel.
Say lining one to center, Baker lining one to short, and Monday lining one to left. Guerrero gets it off the hands and into shallow center field. So they hit 3 shots and then a looping single.
Well, as we said, Reuschel has not pitched in 2 weeks, and also he's not a power pitcher, and for him to be successful, he has to make good pitches. He cannot throw the ball in the middle of the plate. He has to keep the ball down. He has to move it in and out. And here's a ball. He fights it off, but Guerrero is an awfully strong hitter, and he can fight a ball off that gets in on him. And even though he looped it, a lot of times a guy like Rice or a guy like Garvey, you throw a ball in on him, and they just kind of fight it off over the infield.
Mike Scioscia goes the other way, lines this one to left, but Gamble is there, and he makes the catch. So the Dodgers, of the last 5 batters, 4 have hit shots for outs. 1 gets a looping single. L.A. gone in the second, go to the third. It's still 3-0 Yankees.
Yes, sir. I'd like to have this 35mm film developed.
Well, you're in the right place.
Oh, just a minute. Do you use Kodak paper?
Sure. Look on the back of this photo. See, this paper manufactured by Kodak. We use Kodak paper because we believe in quality.
Yes, but how can I be sure to get it every time?
Just ask for it here. Where you see the sign, the one with old, what's-his-name on it.
Old what's-his-name?
I was just kidding, Big Joe.
Excuse me. I'm not the same crazy coach who used to storm around the sidelines yelling at the officials. I've learned to relax, and I drink light beer from Miller. Do you know that Light's got 1/3 less calories than a regular beer? And listen to this. Light doesn't fill me up. Besides that, Light tastes fantastic. Oh, sure, there are a lot of other beers around, and you can drink any one you want. But let me tell you this.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
As I was saying, I don't care what anybody else...
If you're ready to move up to a middleweight, Poland just built your saw.
It's a what? It's a pull-in 3400.
With a powerful, easy-starting engine, solid-state ignition, an incredible anti-vibration system, and more.
A pull-in 3400, huh?
You mean a Poland 3400?
To see it, go to your Poland dealer and say...
I'd like to see the the 3400, please.
Buy a Poland chainsaw and get an extra chain free.
Thursday, John Lennon, alive in the hearts of millions. And Liverpool, his home, remembers his beginnings. The road to fame and fortune. Thursday on 2020.
Dodger Stadium from the Goodyear Blimp. Being manned today by Tom Mattis, Harriet Ewell manning the camera, and Chuck Ferris at the video controls. Gorgeous ballpark. What a setting. Temperature today, 85 degrees. The Yankees on top as we go to the third. 3-0 New York with Winfield, Jackson, and Gamble. You joined us late. Bob Welch started, faced 4 batters, didn't get anybody out. Goltz came on in the first. And Dave working here in the third as Winfield hits a ground ball down to Davy Lopes. 1 pitch, 1 away. Winfield now 0 for 11 in the series.
And he's very aware of it, beginning to fight himself and starting to talk about it and think about it more and more.
Well, you saw that right there. Goltz, as we said, needs to be effective by throwing the ball inside. That ball was almost about 6 inches inside, and Winfield, instead of waiting for a good pitch, swung at a pitcher's pitch and weakly grounded to second.
Right.
One away, Reggie Jackson went to left field for a base hit in the first. And it's fouled away off to the left. The count 0-1.
Tommy Bosley does happy days for ABC.
Not looking too happy there. Must be for the Dodgers.
Once he played Fiorella on Broadway.
0-1 to Jackson. Up and in. Not as close as Reggie made it look, and the count 1-1.
That latter is true, but somehow Jackson has a history of when he goes into the dirt, even actingly, he can get up and hit it out. Don't get him mad.
Hits it through the middle into center field for a base hit. So Reggie Jackson, who had not seen action since a week ago Wednesday in the second game of the American League Championship Series, off the bench, and he's 2 for 2 with a couple of singles. Yankees with 5 hits, and that's the second off Goltz as Oscar Gamble comes up. Gamble flied to shallow center with the bases loaded in the first inning. Not deep enough to score a run. Oh, and 1. Yankees with 2 runs in the first, adding a run in the second on the homer by Randolph, leading 3-0.
I think an interesting thing is Garvey is playing behind Reggie at first base. I guess figuring he would not be stealing with a leg injury.
Steve taking some liberty as Gamble looks at another strike, and the count is 0-2.
From the right field camera.
Actually, that does help their defense because Gamble is a pull hitter and is trying to hit the ball by Garvey into right field to set up a first and third situation.
Oscar unintentionally grounds one to short. Reuschel shovels to Lopes for the force. And Gamble is aboard at first. 2 down in the inning. So Gamble 0-2 trying to hold up on the swing and grounding weakly to the left side. This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Bob Watson, a sacrifice fly in the first inning to drive in a run. Two homers in the series, one in game 1 and one last night. One 1-0. Dodger pen busy again. Terry Forster begins to throw. Goltz is due to lead off when the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the third inning. One and 1. Two out. Gamble at first base, being held on by Garvey. And it's 2-1 on the Bull. Interesting, some veterans who've had good careers getting their first opportunities to play in a World Series. Watson, Winfield, Mercer for the Yanks. 2-2.
There you saw a good breaking ball, and for Goltz to be successful, gets behind in the count and comes back with a slider up in the strike zone a little bit, but enough away from Watson that he couldn't quite get to it.
Two for 2 Jackson. 2-2 to Watson. Is inside for ball 3, so full count. And Gamble will be going with the pitch from first, so Garvey will play behind him now. On deck is Rick Cerrone.
And I would think here Ghost will probably come back with a breaking ball. Nope, looks like the fastball in.
And it's low, so Watson is aboard. First walk given up by Ghost. It's our nerve center. A look down from the Goodyear blimp. Trucks outside Dodger Stadium. And a look in where a crowd of what I would guess to be better than 56,000. They had more than 56,000 last night. 56,236 to be precise. A new all-time stadium record looking on. And very, very quiet right now. The Yankees ahead 3-0. New York with runners at first and second, and 2 down in the 3rd inning. Cerrone grounded out in the 1st. One and 0. Bert Hooton be the starter in Game 6. If there is a Game 6 in New York on Tuesday night.
Scholastic looking chap.
Throw down to second, and Lopes falling down and one-handing it. Gamble getting back to the bag.
Nice play by Davey. And what Scioscia is doing is just letting the Yankee base runners know that he's not afraid to throw. Might make them be an extra step or 2 closer to second base on a base hit. Make it more difficult for the runner to score.
1-2 the count on Cerrone.
Cerrone wants the umpire to look at that one. It's Tommy Lasorda in pensive mood. It's on from the dugout.
Lasorda questioned last night about why he left Valenzuela in so long, and of course Tommy, as it turned out, did the right thing. He said, look, it's the year of Fernando.
Well, he also told me today that the reason he didn't go to the bullpen was because Welch was starting today. And I said, what inning would have been in the ball game last night? He said probably about the 7th, and they kind of gambled and won.
Owner of the California Angels and a string of radio and television stations, the old cowboy Gene Autry.
He can smile now, looking back at the Angels last year. Terrible season.
One and 2 the count. Cerrone grounding it foul outside third. Autry, the owner of the Angels since they came into the American League. His team played 4 seasons in this ballpark. And then, of course, subsequently moved down the freeway to Anaheim.
My first year in baseball in 1965, we played here. Not too many people came to see us play.
Vast difference in those days in the attendance between the two clubs. Now, of course, the Angels draw extremely well. 1-2 pitch. It's fouled away again, and Cerrone taking that one off his foot.
What many people don't remember about Jim Palmer is that, as we look again,
you see the fastball running in on him. He's hit right off the fist, right down on his ankle.
1968, Jim Palmer thought, another look. Stings that foot, I'll tell you. But Jim Palmer, at the age of 23, might be through. Came out here to see Dr. Bob Curlin. Used to throw to Jeff Torborg, now a Yankee coach. Couldn't even reach him, Jeff was telling me.
I used to throw from 50 feet instead of 60 feet 6 inches. I had trouble getting the ball to the plate.
The 1-2 pitch again to Cerrone is hit foul again.
And again, another fastball up and in. Really the only fastball he's thrown out over the plate. Willie Randolph hit over the right center field fence. And as a pitcher, when that happens, you become a little bit defensive. And I think Dave Goltz knows for him to give the Dodgers a chance to win, he has to shut the Yankees out in this inning. And maybe they can get something going with a pinch hitter. So he's trying to make a perfect pitch inside. And so far, Cerrone's been able to fight him off.
Yankees 2 on, 2 out, third inning. Yankees leading 3-0. Gamble at second. Watson at first. And the 1-2 to Cerrone again fouled away. Goltz's last 2 pitches timed at 89 and 88 miles per hour. Cerrone 2 for 10 in the series. Hits it into the hole and into left field for a base hit. Gamble being waved in, and Baker's throw is not in time. Blocked by Sosa. Watson stops at second, and the Yankees have a 4-0 lead in the third inning.
Cerrone hits a slider in the middle of the plate into left. Gamble, who runs well, really not even close at the plate, even though Baker does make a pretty nice throw.
So the Yankees have scored in every inning with Watson at second and Cerrone at first. Half a dozen hits for New York, and up comes Aurelio Rodriguez. Forster in the Dodger pen. Lasorda, of course, would just love to see Goltz get out of this inning. Dave due to lead off in the bottom of the third as Terry is ready. Rodriguez fouling it back out of play, and the count is 0-1.
And I see, again, we see a difference between the American and the National League. With the designated hitter rule, I think he probably would have made a pitching change by now. Go to somebody fresh. Even though Goltz has done a pretty good job up to this point. But he's afraid of wasting a pitcher because then he'll have to pinch hit for him.
Sometimes it hurts you. The other night he was just waiting for Castillo to get out of the inning in game number 1. Fouled away out of play, and the count 0-2. Dodgers winning last night, and in the process snapping a 6-game Yankee winning streak. Yankees beating Milwaukee, then 3 straight over Oakland, the first 2 here, and Bobby Castillo joins Forster in the Los Angeles pen. (0-2) on Rodriguez. 2 on, 2 out. Aurelio, broken bat bouncer, backhanded by Reuschel, but he'll have to eat it, and the Yankees have the bases loaded with the pitcher coming up, Rick Reuschel. An infield single for Rodriguez. 3 hits in the inning for the Yanks.
It's another ball off Aurelio's fist. Just happens to be in the hole, not hit particularly hard. Kind of have to question if Goltz is going to pitch all these right-handed hitters inside. You would think that Reuschel would move over a few steps because part of pitching is playing the hitters the way you're going to pitch them, and he was more or less up the middle. And Goltz is pitching him opposite of the way they're playing him.
Reuschel struck out facing Goltz in the second. 176 lifetime hitter, and the count is 0-1. Reuschel with 2 lifetime homers. The last one coming back in '77. Rick this season as a Cub in the first half of the year was 2 for 25. Ground ball is short. Reuschel going to Lopes, and the force ends the inning. But the Yankees here in the third pick up another run. 3 hits. And they leave the bases loaded. They've stranded 5. We've played 2.5, and the Yanks lead the Dodgers 4-0 in game 4.
You've read about it, you've heard about it. But until now, you've never had a better chance to own it. It's the RCA video disc player. The remarkable machine that plays records of movies, concerts, and more on your TV. And to help you be one of the first to own one, RCA is offering a $50 introductory bonus. Buy one now and you'll get $50 direct from RCA. What's more, a special 10-day money-back offer is available at selected RCA dealers. But hurry, you may never have a better chance.
Why is our front-wheel drive Chevy Citation such a hero with so many Americans? Let's ask Perfect Couple.
Our Citation?
Perfect car.
Roomy perfection for 5. Plus perfect wagon-like space for our twin golden retriever.
Perfect breed.
No wonder Citation sales have passed 1 million.
Thank you, Perfect Couple, but it's 0.9 million.
Okay, nearly 1 million.
Nobody's perfect.
Now get bigger savings on new 1981 Citations.
The bender's kind of caved in.
Don't worry about the car, as long as you're okay.
The old way to find out what your car insurance covered was to have an accident. Sentry, one of the country's largest insurance companies, changed that by inventing the Plain Talk Car Policy, written in words you can understand, so you know exactly how you're covered. That's more than just protection. That's peace of mind.
Is it him?
All's well.
With Sentry, you know all's well.
Here's the last big college football score from the top 10 today. 8th-rated Texas playing Southern Methodist, highly rated in the Associated Press poll, but ineligible to be ranked by UPI because they're on probation. Texas won at 9-7 on 3 field goals by Raul Alegre, one of them a 52-yarder. In the Big Ten, Illinois beat Wisconsin. Now every Big Ten team has at least 2 losses, with 2 exceptions, which are Ohio State and Iowa. Now back to Al Michaels.
There's a lineup tomorrow on ABC. The New York City Marathon, there are the times, 10:30 in the morning, Eastern and Pacific, 9:30 Central. Alberto Salazar, who won last year, predicting not only a victory but a new world record in the marathon tomorrow. 16,000 expected entrants. ABC Sports Speed and then World Series Game 5 at 4:30 Eastern time tomorrow on Sports Speed. Howard tomorrow taking a look at Patton in pinstripes. George Steinbrenner, owner of the Yanks, and not a happy man after last night's game, but considerably more pleased, I'm sure, today.
Marathon should be fascinating. Through the streets of New York City. I intend, if the logistics work and the technology.
Kenny Landreau pinch hitting here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, hitting one down the line and into the corner. Reggie Jackson fielding it in foul territory, and Landreau has a double. So Lasorda going to the bench as he must down by 4. And Landreau responds.
So for the first time.
And sometimes it's not how hard you hit the ball, but where. And here's just a ground ball, but right over the bag. Landreau, I think, might have had a triple if it hadn't been for the fact that they're down by 4 runs. Reggie makes another strong throw into second base. Actually gets away. Recovered by Rodriguez.
First time interest quickens from a Dodger point of view. I was saying, if the technology and logistics permit, I'm going to have a split screen talk with Ingemar Johansson after he finishes running the marathon on Sports Beat.
Tomorrow as Cerrone blocks one in the dirt. Davey Lopes at the plate. Lopes grounded out in the 1st inning. A look from our camera, high 3rd. The positioning of Rodriguez and Milborn as Lopes goes to right field for a base hit. Ozark waving Landreau in. Jackson's throw comes into 2nd, and the Dodgers are on the board in the 3rd.
Quickly, a new look. They had been hitting Reuschel very hard. Here's the pitch. Into Lopes.
Belt high down the middle.
Davey was 3rd hit in the series. The Yankee lead now 4-1. Bill Russell, the batter, and the Yankee bullpen will get busy.
4 of the 5 previous hitters to this inning when Landreau came up had hit the ball hard against Reuschel.
Russell grounds it foul, and interestingly enough, those 4 all lining out, and the one man who did not hit the ball hard, Guerrero, looping a base hit to center. Frazier, who pitched last night, George again throwing in the Yankee bullpen, back of Russell in the 3rd. Lopes goes, the pitch is outside. Cerrone's throw, not in time, and Willie Randolph arguing the call with the second base umpire, Stello.
Usually they tell you don't run when you're down 3 runs. But they want to bust something open. They want to make things happen. And Lopes has that marvelous base stealing percentage we've told you about in the prior games. He was safe.
Davey now 7 for 7 in stolen base attempts in postseason play as Reuschel tries to go the other way, loses his bat, and the ball winds up in the seats off to the right. 1-2 the count. Yankees 4, Dodgers 1. Nobody out in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Lopes at second. The 1-2 to Reuschel is outside. 2-2. On the outside corner, and Billy knew it. So Reuschel gets a big out here in the 3rd. 1 away.
Here you see the curveball breaking right on the corner. Pitcher's pitch.
But up comes the man they have not been able to stop. Batting 3rd today, Steve Garvey, 1 for 1. 6 for 12 on the series, and look at that with runners in scoring position. However,
Garvey taking inside. Steve, 6 for 12 in the World Series, and also a couple of loud outs.
the only hit he got that was not a shot, Al, was that Baltimore chopper last night.
Good on Garvey, who gets right back in.
There's a running fastball.
Steve immediately getting up. He's been waiting in the box. The 2-0 pitch to him is inside again for ball 3. 3-0 the count. Bob Lemon. Garvey looks at a strike in the count, 3-1. Lopes at second with 1 away in the 3rd. Garvey, a slow bouncer to 3rd. Rodriguez has no play. Lopes reaches behind him, and Garvey has an infield single.
He's got a patent on that in this ballpark. Ron Say describes the way they butcher boy the ball. That's what Stengel used to call it. Hit down on it. The clay is not at 3rd base. Jim, the clay is at home plate. It's the first bounce that does the job. And that's what we just saw.
So the Dodgers, trailing 4-0 going into the inning, have scored a run. They have runners at 1st and 3rd. 1 gone. Say line to center in the 1st inning. Yankee infield looking for the double play. 1-0. Fran Say.
And the tying run in the form of her husband at the plate. And he had a 3-run blast last night in the 1st inning.
Say asking for time. A lot of paper coming out of the stands, and that can provide, obviously, a distraction. Say chopping it foul. Cerrone making sure by making contact in foul territory, and the count 1-1. Yankees with 4 runs, 7 hits. The Dodgers 1 run, 5 hits. On deck is Dusty Baker. Lopes at third. Garvey at first. Backhanded by Cerrone. 2-1. Crowd chanting, say, say, say. The 2-1 pitch, a breaking pitch of beauty for a strike, and the count 2-2.
Here you see a 2-1 pitch. As we said earlier, for him to be successful, Say doesn't think it's a strike. Umpire makes a late call, but it's better to be late than make the wrong call. He felt it was a strike.
2-2 pitch. Ball 3, and the count is full. See if Garvey goes here. Steve at first. Lopes the runner at third. And Garvey goes as Say hits a bouncer toward the hole. Backhanded by Milburn as one play first base scooped out by Watson. And Lopes comes in to score as Garvey goes to second. So it's 4-2.
There you see the 3-2 sinker. Milburn's playing him up the middle. Gets to the ball, only has a play at first. Doesn't make a strong throw, but Watson scoops it up for the second out.
2 down, Garvey at second base, and Dusty Baker lined short in the second inning. Dusty 1 for 11 in the series.
Dusty has been struggling, as he put it to me, for the last several weeks. But with a .338 career batting average, although look at him in postseason games, that graphic. But things change, and abruptly.
0-2.
They sure do. Some people feel that when he had that altercation the other night in Montreal, that he may have hurt his wrist. Just how much it hurts, he won't admit. Only he knows that.
Baker checking the appeal, don't get the call there, and the count 1-2.
Here you see an 0-2 breaking ball, just about where you want to throw it, just off the corner. Tough call by the umpire. It really could go either way.
No, I think he held. I think it's a good call.
Down he goes. So he gets him on a breaking pitch. And the Dodgers are finished in the third, but they have the Yankee lead. Pick up 2 on 3 hits after 3. It's the Yankees 4 and the Dodgers 2.
I do one thing. I sing. By doing one thing all my life, I developed my own special style. Like Kentucky Fried Chicken. All they do is chicken, but they do it like nobody else. Oh, Kentucky Fried Chicken, they do it right. Tender and juicy, right at the bite. No other fried chicken tastes so right. Kentucky Fried Chicken, they do chicken right.
You know, you can stop an air leak for pennies with duct tape. This whole roll costs less than $2. It will easily pay for itself with the energy it saves. Now, there are other conservation measures we hear about. The question is, will they pay for themselves with the energy they save? If you'd like more information, it's in the Conservation Payback Book, free from Shell. Come to Shell for answers.
United announces great low prices on complete Hawaii vacation packages. Prices that bring Hawaii closer from the East Coast, closer from the Midwest, closer from every city United serves. United, once-in-a-lifetime prices for a once-in-a-lifetime vacation.
Fly the pretty skies.
Premiering tomorrow, right after the World Series. A 2-hour special of a hot new series, Today's FBI.
You're in a risky line of business.
Mike Connors busts open a waterfront scandal.
I want this walking garbage off my beer.
Today's FBI. Then whatever became of the monkeys? Brigitte Bardot, Pinky Lee, and many more. Where they came from and where they went. The Inside Story, a special look at whatever became of.
Third Dodger pitcher of the day is Terry Forster, coming on in relief as we go to the 4th inning. Forster, signed by the Dodgers as a free agent prior to the 78 season, pitched extremely well in 78, but then underwent 2 elbow operations over the past couple of seasons, limiting his use in both 79 and in 80. Pitched in only 9 games last season. This year, Terry in 21 during the regular season with a record of 0-1 and an ERA of 4.06. Willie Randolph with a triple and a home run to lead off in the 4th inning. 1-0 the count. Two and 0 now.
I remember back to Chicago when they had Gossage and Forrester in the bullpen.
Right. And in Pittsburgh. Chuck Tanner bringing them both over to the Pirates. 3-0 the count. Randolph to be followed by Milburn and Winfield in the 4th. 3-1. Milburn waiting on deck. Another strike and the count full. Yankees with 2 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd. Dodgers coming back with 2 in the bottom of the 3rd. 4-2 Yankees here in the 4th. 3-2 to Randolph is high, so Willie is on. Randolph drawing his 6th walk in the 4 games.
His get-on-base percentage is just huge. Superb batting eye.
Of course, he had an off year with the bat this year, but last year I think he was on like 43% of the time. And
still had a pretty good get-on-base percentage this year, even though, as you say, he hit only .232.
Well, he had 57 walks. And
Milburn at the plate. Say in on the grass at 3rd. Milburn tries to lay one down, pops it up, and Garvey tries to pull a Say, what Ronnie did last night, and the ball bounds up and hits Steve apparently on the nose. But Garvey getting a hand as he goes back to his station at first base.
And here you see Milburn trying to bunt a ball over his head. Not a very good ball to bunt. Where you want to throw it in a bunt situation. Garvey makes a great effort, just can't get to it, and you'll see the ball bounce up, hit him right somewhere in either the forehead or the face.
Garvey back on the bag at first, holding Randolph aboard. 0-1 the count. Say ready to charge from 3rd. Milburn squares again, lays one down towards Say at 3rd, and Ron has one play at first base as Welch covers, and Randolph advances. 1 down. Randolph in scoring position now as Dave Winfield comes to the plate, still trying to get on track. He drew a walk in the 1st inning, bounced out in the 3rd, and 0 for 11 in the series thus far. Reggie Jackson on deck. Reggie 2 for 2 today.
Let's wait and see whether Winfield is patient as he wasn't last time, or he waits, tries to swing at the first ball.
1-0.
Couldn't have swung at that if he wanted to.
Ball hit the second earlier was almost the same pitch. It's often said when a hitter is in a slump, he does not see the ball well. Talk to any hitter that's having a tough time at the plate. They just don't see the release point when the ball comes out of the pitcher's hand.
Sosa taking a piece of that one, and the count is 1-1.
There you saw him swinging a low fastball tailing away. Not a good pitch to hit.
Yankees ahead 4-2 in the fourth. Welch started. Golds came on. And now Forster in relief. 1-1 the count. Winfield, a chopper, backhanded by Reuschel, and they have Randolph trapped, and Bill throws to third. Shea running him back toward second, makes the catch. Winfield has to hold it first.
It's just incredible how they keep running on balls hit in front of the runner. Look at this. Now you just don't go on that, and it's a long throw to first, by the way, and Winfield has good speed, that loping stride. I think they should start practicing that play for next year.
2 down with Winfield at first base. Randolph shaking his head, wondering how he could do it. It was that simple.
He hates himself, but they keep doing it.
Jackson takes high for a ball. 1-0. Slugging percentage.
Some may be surprised that Lou Brock is up there. He could hit it a long way. Reggie, Mr. October.
Slugging percentage, by the way, determined by total bases divided by at-bats. Jackson at 767, the all-time leader in that department.
Reggie hits Terry Forrester. Well, I know in 1976 when he played for our ball club, he had 2 grand slams off Terry when I was pitching. I was pretty pleased about that. Way in the upper deck in Chicago.
Ball 2. Jackson going to left field for his base hit in the first inning. Then up the middle in the third. 2 for 2. 2-0 pitch to Reggie. In there. Good one.
What do they do? Stretch his neck or something?
I don't know. I think the pitch that Reggie can hit almost best from a left-hander is the slider, and the 2 of the grand slams he hit off Forrester were sliders, mainly because off a left-hander they just figure they can throw a slider to a left-hander anywhere, and the pitches that he hit were 3-2 sliders in the middle of the plate. Reggie gets the bat out front a little bit. Anybody that's seen him play knows he can hit the ball a long way. And that particular pitch right there was a slider. I think he was a little bit upset he missed that pitch.
He kept moving his neck after the swing. Looked like a turkey neck.
Well, he hasn't played in 8 or 9 days.
Two pitch coming up to Jackson. They send Winfield. The pitch is inside. Sosa's throw is not there in time, and Winfield with a stolen base. So with the count full on Reggie now, Winfield in scoring position.
Look at that man's stride. That's what I meant. Randolph made it easy. The burden was on the Dodgers. On the Winfield grounder, was in the hole. Russell has a questionable arm. It's been his one problem as a shortstop through the years after moving in from center field where he began. Winfield gets down quickly.
3-2 to Jackson. He's inside. So Reggie dances on down the line to first. Second walk issued in the inning by Forster. And Oscar Gamble coming up. Gamble 0 for 2 today.
Look at him against left-handers.
Facing very few with only 11 at-bats during the season. Winfield at second and Jackson at first. 1-0 the count.
And this is an unusual move, mainly because the Dodgers' other main reliever is Steve Howe, who's left-handed. You'd think that Piniella would come in the ballgame. Obviously, they'd like to add to the lead.
I agree
right
with you 100%.
Foul at the plate.
And that's not to say that Oscar, I know that the graphic said that he's 0 for 11 this year, and I've seen him get many hits off left-handers, especially when he used to play with Cleveland, because he played more often. But
there's Lou. Seems to me you've got to go for the jugular, man. Don't have time to wait for tomorrow.
Well, you're not hurting yourself, because Piniella back in '78 made the outstanding defensive plays against the Dodgers in that World Series and has played very well in right field. Kept a triple from really a double from being a triple last night.
Forster again missing inside. 2-1.
Fellow up next. Something to think about, Mr. Watson.
Well, Terry Forrester knows that he has to get Gamble out. This is the matchup you want. He doesn't want to face Watson.
3-1 the count.
If Gamble gets on, as he said, it's Howe in the bullpen there.
Well, I'm not sure if that's Howe or...
Wait a minute.
Right-hander throwing in the Dodger pen, Bobby Castillo.
Oh, Castillo.
My point was that their dominant reliever is Steve Howe. If you make a move now, you might see a left-hander later.
Gamble hits a ground ball toward the middle. Lopes is there, and nobody at second base, so the bases are loaded. Russell went over to try to make the play, leaving the base vacant. Davey had no play at first, and Gamble with an infield single. So Watson will be coming up with the bases loaded.
Yankees are pointing toward a record for men left on base. They left the bases loaded last inning. They face that possibility this inning.
First baseman,
Jerry Royce in the foreground there with Lasorda in the background. Jerry will pitch tomorrow in Game 5. Lasorda going to stick with a left-handed Forster against Watson.
And on that last play, you just saw a mix-up in communication. Russell didn't know that Lopes was going to get to the ball, and he just committed himself to try to field the ground ball and wasn't able to get to the bag.
A strike to Watson and the count 0-1. Lasorda with Castillo in the Dodger bullpen, but certainly his confidence in Bobby was not buoyed by his performance the other night, so he opts to remain with the lefty here. 1-1.
Well, Forrester does have that good hard slider he can throw in on Watson's fist, and as we said, that's the place you want to try to pitch him if you can do it. Because saying and doing are two different things. So far, the Dodgers pitchers have not made good pitch to Bob Watson.
Watson a sacrifice fly in the first inning, a walk in the third. The 1-1 pitch is on the outside corner for a strike, and the count 1-2. Grounded down to short. Russell shoveling to Lopes, and again the Yankees leave the bases loaded.
When you do this, what they have just done, as often as they have done it, third time in 4 innings, the bases loaded. They failed at every point to break the game open. Inevitably, you pay later on. We'll be back.
Rainmaker to ground.
Okay, Rainmaker. One more, how to do it?
Raj, picking us up a refill. Tell that fire not to go anywhere.
Bullseye, you got it.
Does that mean it's Miller time?
Roger.
Miller time.
Well, it's time to relax.
Time for the best tasting beer you can find.
Beer stands clear.
Miller High Life.
If you got the time, Miller's got the beer.
These babies cost over $300,000, and quarries are tough on their engines. So Fram designed a special double air filter to protect them. Now we've designed a double filter for cars. It's the Fram Extra Life. Inside a normal filter, outside an extra filter. It lasts 50% longer than our old Fram filter, but it doesn't cost any more. So why not get one to protect your car? It may not have cost you $300,000, but it's still a big investment.
I've been making more comparisons between Mattel Electronics in television and Atari. Different games, but the same results. Look at Atari basketball. And in television. I think in television plays much more like real basketball. Here's Atari soccer. And in television. Again, I find in television more sophisticated and lifelike. If you try them both, I think you'll find the clear winner is in television from Mattel Electronics.
Monday, a safety plane with a super chute. 51 water skiers set a world record. And the dream house of the future, a foam home.
That's incredible.
Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, Game 4 of the 1981 World Series. Al Michaels with Howard Cosell and Jim Palmer. The Yankees on top 4-2. The Yankees, though, in 4 innings have left 8 men aboard. And the Dodgers come up here in the bottom of the 4th with Baker, Monday. With Monday to lead things off, Guerrero and Socha. Monday hit it on the nose in the 2nd inning, but right at Oscar Gamble. 1-0 the count.
Look at that. It's like turnovers in football. That kind of statistic tells you a lot.
Two-0 the count. Yankees have out hit the Dodgers thus far 8-5. Both Dodger runs in the 3rd inning after the Yankees have taken a 4-0 lead. Three-0 the count. Frazier up and throwing in the Yankee bullpen again. Reuschel to this point, giving up 5 hits, hasn't walked the man, has struck out 2. And the pitch is outside, so Monday draws a walk on 4 pitches. And Pedro Guerrero coming up.
And it seems to me Bob Lemon can't sit there today. Keep going back to the number of men they've left on base. The Dodgers have lived dangerously thus far today, but under the circumstances, very well. 1st inning, 1 in, bases filled, none out. Yankees settled for 2.
Guerrero takes low and inside for a ball. 1-0 the count.
2 other times, bases filled, and one case settled for 1, another case for none.
2-0 the count. This is something that rarely happens to Rick Reuschel, who has excellent control. As you look at Bob Lemon, Reuschel averaging only 1.3 walks per 9 innings since the trade from Chicago. Those are his figures with the Yankees. He walks Monday on 4 and has missed with 2 straight to Guerrero. Cerrone coming back behind the plate with a count 2-0 on Pedro.
What do you think's happening to him, Jim? Trying to be too fine?
I think anything but that. He's maybe be trying to make good pitches, but 2 weeks inactivity.
That's it.
Could be.
Over here for a strike, and the count 2-1.
Really has a very uncomplicated windup. not a whole lot of things can go wrong with it. I think that's probably one of the reasons he's had such outstanding control throughout his career.
Lined on a hop by diving Milborn out into left field. Monday pulling in at second.
Here comes Lem.
Bob Lemon going out to the mound here in the fourth inning. The Dodgers with runners at first and second and nobody out. Guerrero with a base hit here, now 2 for 2. Lemon looking to the pen and making the move.
Here you see the ball by Milborn. He does not adjust. You don't want to move on pitches because the batters will know what's coming. But last inning and this inning, both times, Reuschel's gotten behind the batters and he has not adjusted, has not moved over into the hole.
That's Rudy May, who's been up with Frazier. He's coming on in relief in the fourth.
Holiday Inn.
Welcome to our people-pleasing place.
Is that the Holiday Inn East, the Holiday Inn West, the Midtown?
The one by United Industries.
The one by the headquarters or the plant?
The headquarters.
We offer you a choice of the most popular locations.
You need 3 hands.
You're right.
People-pleasing locations.
The airport? The one by Holiday Inn North or Holiday Inn South?
Is number 1 in people-pleasing.
Happy birthday!
Oh, my goodness!
Make way here.
Hot cake, hot cake.
Hey, everybody. Here comes your present. There you are. Happy birthday.
Big spender.
Oh, je suis belle.
Good-looking pig. I've seen better.
With the one step, you can see your pictures before the candles go out.
Cake looks great.
Yeah, but don't cut it.
Why?
It's rented.
Rented? Well, rent yourself another pig. And give me my picture.
Polaroid means fun. With the one step.
Blow away everything you ever heard about pickups and meet the revolutionary new size Chevy S10. There's never been a truck like it before.
Chevy S10.
28 miles per gallon, 39 highway.
The standard 4-cylinder engine has higher EPA gas mileage ratings than any of the best-selling imports.
Chevy S10.
It offers optional V6 power.
Power to tow twice as much as any import pickup.
The new size Chevy S10. Order yours today. There's never been a truck like it before.
Never!
Chevy is the power in trucks.
Tomorrow, for the first time ever, live network start-to-finish coverage of the New York City Marathon. And on ABC Sports Beat, Howard Cosell one-on-one with the man behind the success and turmoil of the New York Yankees, George Steinbrenner, Patton in pinstripes. Plus, a look at the striking beauty who might just be the best lady golfer in the world. And the World Series continues. Quite a day tomorrow on ABC.
Rudy May, out of the Yankee bullpen, came in last night in relief, worked 3 innings, gave up no runs and 2 hits. And he'll be facing Mike Scioscia here in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Yankees on top, 4-2. Scioscia 0 for 1, fly to left field in the 2nd inning. Mike, the number 8 hitter. So we'll see what Lasorda has in mind here. Pitcher Forster due up next. Dodger bullpen is busy with Tom Niedenfuhr throwing. Yankee infield expecting the bunt with Watson and Rodriguez in shallow. The Dodgers have Monday at second, Guerrero at first, and nobody out. Scioscia squaring and taking outside, ball 1.
And a good rule of thumb here, and Earl Weaver, who's been line manager for the last 12 years, is as far as Rudy May is concerned, they're going to give you an out here. So you have to make the hitter bunt the ball. You want to just hope that your third baseman, your first baseman can make a good play and either get a force at third or second.
Scioscia lays it down. Nice bunt. May looks at third, goes to first, and a fine stretch by Randolph to get the out there as the runners advance. The Dodgers with a tying run now at second base. And Reggie Smith coming up to bat for Forster. Reggie Smith undergoing a shoulder surgery. limiting his playing time this year. As a matter of fact, he played defensively only twice. On both occasions at first base, not at all in right field, his normal position. And up here in the fourth inning with Dodgers at second and third, the Yankee infield is back. They'll give up a run on the ground ball. One down. Smith, a switch hitter. On one.
Jim, do you walk Smith? Go for the double play?
Well, I would. Not this early in the ballgame. You're in the fourth inning. You really don't want to put the winning run on first base. Now, I would say if you were a run or two down, you'd probably gamble and do that, which we've seen twice in the World Series before. But right here, we have Rudy May, who has an excellent breaking ball. He's a strikeout pitcher. We'll probably see the curveball right here. And like I said, it's a high fastball.
High fastball, right? He swung right through it.
Maybe that's why I never got Reggie Smith out. But really, Reggie Smith from the left side, who, when I faced him, was basically a low fastball hitter. That, when his shoulder as well, is the kind of a pitch that he liked. From a left-handed pitcher, much better high fastball hitter than he was from the other side of the plate. But Rudy does have him in a hole, and Reggie's got to protect the play. This is where you might see a hitter swing at a pitch just a little bit out of the strike zone.
And Smith has gone on a breaking ball. So on 3 pitches, down he goes.
Very good, James.
Well, don't give me the credit. Rudy May, he has an excellent curveball, as I said last night, and he just made him aware of the fastball by throwing it away, and then he came in with a good curveball just a little bit off the plate, and Reggie chased it.
More than that, the damaged shoulders have hampered his swing. You're much better off percentage-wise pitching to him. Lopes has been a pest. He hits effectively to the opposite field. He's a contact hitter.
He's not much of a double play man, as he hits the ball extremely hard to one of your infield.
Lopes has been a particular pest the last 2 games. 2 hits last night, 1 for 2 today. Drove in a run in the 3rd inning. 2 out. Monday at 3rd, Guerrero at 2nd. A strike to Davey, and it's 0-1.
I think that's the reason why the Dodgers have been playing better. Lopes has been getting on base. When we talk about for the Yankees, Willie Randolph's very important to their offense. Davey Lopes has been getting a lot of fastballs to hit. And again, you saw Rudy May make a good pitch with his fastball. And if you want to get Davey Lopes out, I would think you'd want to do it with a breaking ball.
Lopes hits a breaking ball on the ground to short. Milburn with a throw to first and in time to retire the side. So both clubs threatening the 4th inning, but both come up empty. The Dodgers, no runs, 1 hit, and leave runners at 2nd and 3rd as Larry Milburn makes the play and throws out Lopes. The Dodgers have now stranded 5 through 4, and we'll move to the 5th inning in Game 4 at Dodger Stadium. The score remains the Yankees 4 and the Dodgers 2.
A phenomenon that's puzzled me is why some people settle for the ordinary when they could have the extraordinary. Perhaps its cause is simply a lack of knowledge. Fortunately, I've never had that problem. So choosing a home videotape recorder was relatively easy. I chose the Sony Betamax. For when I observed how it performed so many complex technological functions with such ease and simplicity, I no longer saw a machine. I saw genius.
The genius of Betamax, only from Sony.
Right Guard knows a man needs all the protection he can get. That's why Right Guard Solid has an action-triggered formula. Triggered to release protection when your body needs it most. So the more you sweat, the more protection you get. Right Guard action-triggered formula helps keep you dry and odor-free all day. Right Guard antiperspirant Solid. The more you sweat, the more protection you get.
Come on, you guys, hands up. Defense!
It's your broker from Dean Witter.
I want to see you hustle.
Some people just aren't easy to please, especially when it comes to their investments.
Josie, we do it.
You look like you just heard from Dean Witter.
At Dean Witter, we can give even the hard-to-please investor something to smile about.
Okay, let's see that defense.
You just heard from Dean Witter.
Manager Bob Lemon has seen another Yankee base running mistake today. This one by Willie Randolph, reviving memories of last night. I talked to Bob about that earlier. Lem, one day you're a hero, the next day you're a bum. You managed a team that made base running mistakes. What do you say about it?
Well, they're human too, you know. Not all George's horses win either. And it was just one of those days we should have won. We should have won the ball game, but sometimes, no matter how good you play, you lose, and no matter how bad you play, you win.
Not all of George's horses win either. Great line. Nothing bothers him.
Yankees on top as we go to the 5th inning. Tom Niedenfuhr, who pitched very well in relief in Game 1 on Tuesday, working on Cerrone, and the count is 1-0. Niedenfuhr, 1 year of professional baseball, called up by the Dodgers in mid-August, Double-A at San Antonio. And in the World Series, as Cerrone hits a high fly ball to center field, Guerrero camping underneath, one away. Niedenfuhr, the other night, remarkable poise, comes in, gives up a base hit to the first man he faces, and then sets down the next 9 in succession.
Well, he attributed that fact to the ability to get the breaking ball over. Everybody knows that's ever watched him pitch that he has a lot of ability, good live fastball. But the other night he threw some excellent sliders, and when you can do that, when you have a good fastball to go with a good breaking pitch, and you get them both over, it makes it a lot easier. And he did that the other night in Yankee Stadium.
Working here now on Rodriguez, who fouls it away, and the count is 0-1.
I think if you're going to talk to any youngster that has a good arm, the most important thing is not how hard you can throw. It's can you throw the ball over the plate. And once you establish your fastball, it makes that breaking ball a lot better. And this is what he did the other night.
Popped up. Russell. 2 down. So Rudy May will be coming up, I think, for the first time. Last night, May came on, and even though Rudy was in there when the Dodgers scored what turned out to be the winning run, he kept the Yankees in the game. Winning run last night coming in on what was a double play in the 5th inning. May doing a fine job last night and again here. And Rudy going for the downs, 0-1.
One must presume at least 3 reasons why Lemon put in Rudy May. First, Socia, the left-hander, was up at the time. Second, as discussed, Reggie Smith would have to bat right-handed against him. And thirdly, he wanted a veteran in there.
0-2.
Well, Rudy's been a starter, been a reliever, been effective in both jobs. Rudy is older than I am. Pitched against him here.
Oh, no.
Yes, he is. He beat me in 1965 here. I pitched a 1-hitter, walked about 18 guys. He beat me 2-0. Hit a double off Dick Hall. Probably his last hit.
1-2 to May. Is fouled straight back. Two down, and the base is empty in the 5th. Yankees on top 4-2. Yanks have stranded 8 thus far. The Dodgers have left 5 men aboard. May in the air to left field. Baker going over into the corner. Dusty has room. So for the first time today, the Yankees are retired in order. And in the middle of the 5th inning, 4-2 Yanks. Back at Dodger Stadium after this commercial and a word from our local stations.
Whoa, little fellow, where do you think you're going? We're going to get you back to your mama.
There you go.
We got them all. That means it's Miller time. Come on, I'm buying.
Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, Miller's got the beer.
Premiering Wednesday, Lee Majors is Hollywood's hottest stuntman, the Fall Guy.
Lots of companies will move your air cargo. There are big ones and small ones, and they drive around picking up and delivering. But guess who most of them use to ship? Flying Tigers. We carry cargo for most air cargo companies, so we're probably already shipping yours. Call us first, and your cargo doesn't have to be given to anyone else. We can pick it up, fly it, and deliver it all ourselves.
Flying Tigers!
Call us in the first place.
Now, wherever you move in the West, from Colorado to Montana, Wyoming to New Mexico, only First Interstate Bank can move with you. Because only First Interstate Bank can move all the respect, goodwill, and money you've built up with us from one part of the West to another. Because only the First Interstate Bank system has nearly 900 offices throughout an 11 Western state territory. Move to First Interstate Bank, the only bank where convenience comes with the territory.
USC tackles Notre Dame tonight at 11:30.
We go to the bottom of the fifth inning at Dodger Stadium with Bill Russell to lead off, followed by Garvey and Say. Rudy May on in relief for New York with the Yankees ahead 4-2. Russell taking low for a ball. Bill is grounded to third and struck out. May in relief of Rick Reuschel. 1-1. Game 5 tomorrow. Popped in the air, shallow right field. Randolph sprinting out, waving Jackson away, but Reggie says, "I'll take it," and does. One away. Pitchers tomorrow in Game 5. Same matchup that we had in Game 1. It will be Guidry and Royce, and a big day of sports on ABC, beginning with a New York City Marathon. 10:30 in the morning, Eastern and Pacific. 9:30 Central Time. Through the 5 boroughs of New York. Sports beat to follow. And the World Series Game 5. New York City Marathon on tomorrow. First time that live coverage has been provided start to finish in the United States. One and 0 on Garvey. Line to left field and toward the corner and in for a base hit and maybe more. Garvey taking the turn as Gamble gets it back in. So Steve winds up at second with a double.
They simply cannot handle that man. 3 for 3 today. He has taken over as the hottest hitter in this series.
Well, Rudy May got Russell out on a changeup. Here's another one. Garvey hits it on the end of the bat, hooks it right down the left field corner. No chance for Gamble to make a play on it. Again, it's not a good changeup because it's up in the strike zone. But here's a guy that's had 200 hits 6 times in his career.
Garvey now with 8 hits in 14 trips in the series, and Say 0 for 2 standing in. 0-1. Say 3 for 12 in the 4 games thus far. One and 1 the count. Yankee bullpen, Ron Davis throwing.
Ron has not pitched in this series the way he pitched during the season. Well, he's been a good middle reliever. May not be on the top of his form.
1-1 pitch. Just inside. May thought it was over. And the count 2-1.
Well, that's a pitch that Rudy wanted because he knows against their right-handed power, for him to be successful, he has to get his breaking ball over when he's behind. And that was a 1-1 curveball. he would have liked to have that call to strike.
Say hits it into left field for a base hit. Garvey around third. He'll come in to score. And it's 4-3.
And the Dodgers keep coming on. And all those opportunities that the Yankees blew keep adding up in retrospect. And you could sense the Dodgers coming on. Now it's a one-run ball game.
And Lemon going to the mound. Say has driven in 2 of the 3 runs. Davis in the pen, each club with 8 hits, and the call goes out for Ron Davis. So Lemon has made his move. Davis coming in here in the 5th inning. Say at first base is the tying run. Dusty Baker will be coming to the plate with the Yankees ahead 4-3. We'll be right back.
Feeling any better?
This cold's the worst.
Here's some aspirin for the aching and fever.
But I'm also sniffling, sneezing, coughing. My head's stuffy, and tonight I gotta rest.
I was supposed to get you a sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine?
That's NyQuil. Relieves aches and fever plus other symptoms. Aspirin doesn't.
NyQuil.
Sure wish I had some.
Be right back.
NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine.
New Backwoods Smokes just hit town. Looking wild, but tasting mild.
New Backwoods Smokes. How can anything that looks so wild taste so mild? New Backwoods Smokes. How can anything that looks so wild taste so mild?
New Backwoods Smokes. All natural tobacco, hand-rolled look in a keep 'em fresh pocket pouch.
How can anything that looks so wild taste so mild?
Now there's a place where they have their own authorized mechanics, quality parts and service, and prices you can afford. Now there's K-Care, found only at Kmart.
Why not change to the tire you don't have to change? The KM Special Radial, with 2 fiberglass belts and aggressive tread design. Goes through rain, mud, and snow, yet rides smooth on highways. Now the KM Special is sale priced as low as $31.97. Hey, we'll even rotate them every 5,000 miles at no charge. That's K-Care, only at Kmart.
Tomorrow, the man behind the success and turmoil of the New York Yankees, George Steinbrenner, and the cover girl who may just be the best lady golfer in the world. Tomorrow on ABC Sports Beat.
Well, on Sports Beat, batting in pinstripes, Jan Stevenson, the fair lady of the fairways, and if everything works, Ingemar Johansson after he runs that New York City Marathon. Built more strongly than alfalfa Michaels. Right.
Ingemar may win that thing tomorrow, huh?
We'll be originating Sports Beat live from right here, the World Series.
Ron Davis still loosening up. Dusty Baker getting ready to come up with 1 out in the 5th inning. Yankees have led all the way, 2 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd. But the Dodgers picked up 2 in the 3rd to have the advantage. Got a run over here in the 5th inning on a double by Garvey and a single by Say, and the tying run. Say is at first base with 1 away.
We've talked about character in teams before, but if ever a team is showing character, it's the Dodgers.
0-1. Quickly ahead on Baker, 0-2 now. Davis worked an inning last night. Gave up no runs, 1 hit. Most inauspicious beginning in the World Series for Davis the other night in Game 1. Came on, walked the first 2 batters. Gossage came on to pick up the save. Huge foul off the end of the bat. Count holding at 0-2. Call strike 3. Baker really upset over Harvey's call. Davis gets a strikeout and the second out of the inning.
How'd that look to you, Jim?
Well, I've been watching all day, and here you see a fastball, and it runs in a little bit. Dusty Baker thought it was inside. Doug Harvey's been really having a small strike zone all afternoon. Hasn't been giving the pitchers too many pitches. Took a long time to call it. But I guess he felt it was a strike.
With 2 down, Rick Monday.
If he didn't, we'd have an investigation.
Say at first. Yanks ahead 4-3. Oh, 1.
Well, as we said, Monday, there is no. Here you see Davis pitching to Rick Monday. There's no mystery about Ron Davis. He throws very few breaking balls. They know what he's going to throw. He's coming right at him with fastballs. And as Hank Bauer, I said this before, once said, when you get 2 strikes on you and the ball's close, you better be swinging.
One and one on Monday. Gets the corner, and the count 1-2.
And here's a fastball in the outside corner. One of the difficulties that the hitters are having right now is really, you have a shadow. You have the pitcher in the sun, and you have the batter in the shade. Makes it much more difficult. Rick Monday also said that a side-arming right-handed pitcher comes out of the stands in left center field.
And down goes Monday. So Davis comes out of the bullpen, strikes out Baker and Monday, and the Dodgers in the 5th inning settle for the 1 run. A run, 2 hits, leave 1, through 5 full. Yankees 4, Dodgers 3.
Like many married couples, Tom and Mary Ross both worked to pay their mortgage.
Allstate update, mortgage protection.
Only Tom's life was insured, so when Mary died, Tom couldn't pay the mortgage alone and had to sell their home. If you're a working couple, it could happen to you too. So Allstate Life offers joint mortgage protection. One policy that covers both breadwinners for less than 2 policies cost. Allstate's joint mortgage protection life insurance. For life, home, or auto, you're in good hands with Allstate.
On a summer's evening in 1924 in Lynn, Massachusetts, perhaps the most significant game in the long history of baseball was played. It wasn't the pitching that was so extraordinary, nor the hitting, and the fielding, well, it was less than exemplary. No, what made this game truly historic was the time of day. Nightfall. For it was on this night that this small group of GE engineers ushered in the era of night baseball. Baseball under the lights. And while the names of Hugo Fee and Tommy Perkins and Hank Innes will never be recorded in the Hall of Fame, it was this earnest band of GE pioneers that made possible for us all the many brilliant nights to come.
GE, we bring good things to life.
Game 4, the Yankees leading in the series 2-1, leading here through 5. 4-3 New York. Tom Niedenfuhr, the 4th Dodger pitcher. Bob Welch started, didn't get anybody out. Dave Goltz came on in the 1st. Terry Forster came on in the 4th. And now Niedenfuhr, who has faced 13 men in his 2 World Series appearances and retired 12 of them. Set the side down in order in the 5th and goes to work on the top of the Yankee order in the 6th inning with Randolph, Milburn, and Winfield coming up. Doug Harvey paying a visit to the mound here. Any idea what that might be about, Jim?
Really not. I would think that possibly in New York they were allowed to go to their mouths on the dirt, which is normally against the rules, and he might have warned him that here and when it's 85 degrees and you don't have to keep your hands warm, that he's not going to allow that. That's the only thing I could think of.
Willie Randolph takes inside. Randolph, perfect day thus far. Tripled in the first, scored a run, hit a home run in the second, drew a walk in the fourth. He's walked 6 times in the series thus far. Bouncer to short. Easy play for Bill Reuschel. Not so easy, though. Garvey can't save him either. Steve missing the tag. And arguing with the call, the first base umpire, Rich Garcia. And Tommy Lasorda will join in.
Here you see, as Howard said earlier, the only thing wrong with Russell at shortstop, sometimes he makes some erratic throws, and you saw in the replay, Randolph reacts well to get underneath the tag. Can't really tell from that angle whether he was out or not.
No, you really can't, and in point of fact, the umpire was not that well positioned. Like a referee in boxing, behind a fighter, belaboring another fighter, but not able to see the degree of punishment being administered. In any event, he's safe, and that's that.
Tommy, of course, loses the argument, but gets the crowd stirred up. As Larry Milburn gets ready to stand in. Milburn, 1 for 2 plus a sacrifice.
We may possibly see another sacrifice here.
Say expecting one. Ron in on the grass at third. Throw over to first to drive Randolph back.
Lemon may be of a mind to let Milburn hit. Maybe hit and run even.
Bunch foul.
Not there.
0-1.
Why? Because Winfield is going so badly. Here's still another angle on that tag. Let's see if we can see him. It's so hard. So hard.
Russell, of course, charged with an error. Dodgers have now made 4 in the series. The Yankees just 1. Milburn squares again. They pitch out, but Randolph not going anywhere. 1-1 the count. Bunted foul. It's a foul ball. Then scooting out into fair territory, so the count is 1-2.
Here you see the bunt attempt.
Off the foot.
So the count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Milburn. Popped up, shallow left field, and a play for Dusty Baker as he crosses the line. 1 away in the 6th inning, and Dave Winfield coming up.
So they were going for the bunt originally, and they couldn't execute. Heard those words before.
Winfield 0 for 2 today. 2 hits in his last 30 at-bats, going back to the League Championship Series and the World Series. Still hitless in 12 trips.
You send Willie here, Jim?
Well, Niedenfuhrer has a big windup. I suppose if he's going to be running, it would be easier to steal off this kind of delivery. It takes a lot longer to get rid of the ball than Goltz or Welch. I would think that the way Winfield's hitting, you might want to hit and run. You might want to have the infielders moving a little bit, open up a hole for Dave.
1-0 the count. Randolph not moving here, and a breaking pitch missing for ball 2.
Talk about execution, excuse me, Al, as you did, Howard, the failure of Milburn to bunt him over. I think anytime a manager ever takes over a new ball club, what does he say he's going to do? I'm going to work on the fundamentals, and one of them, probably one of the most important, especially when you don't have a DH, is bunting. getting that guy over, getting him in scoring position.
Close play as Randolph has to dive back into the bag.
He's gotten 2 good calls from his point of view. I'll tell you that was close. No, he was in.
2-0 on Winfield. Trying to shake the slump. It's a high fly ball to left field and deep down the line into the corner. Dusty Baker all the way back and makes the catch. Randolph tagging and moves into second. So an alert play by Randolph. Winfield driving Baker all the way back to the low fence in the corner. And Randolph tagging at first base and able to advance.
We talk about the big ballpark in Yankee Stadium. Here, this ballpark works to the Dodgers' advantage. As Baker gets back to the wall, the ball would have been easily in the left field pavilion in Yankee Stadium.
There's Steve Howe getting ready to throw in the Dodger bullpen. Looking ahead when the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the inning. Niedenfuhr is due up third. They are going to walk Reggie Jackson now and take their chances with Oscar Gamble. So Reggie, seeing his first series action, will get aboard for the 4th time. He singled in the first, singled in the third, walked in the 4th, and draws the walk here in the 6th inning. Jackson going down to first.
Oscar
Randolph
Gamble
at second, and Oscar Gamble, who's 1 for 3, will be the hitter. Time called as Doug Harvey brushes off the plate.
Richard Whitmore. Sandy Koufax's father.
Right.
New way to identify a great star.
Right. Gamble looks at a strike. Interesting. Randolph making a very heads-up play by tagging at first and going to second. But what Willie did was he took the bat out of Reggie's hands. The intentional walk as the Dodgers take their chances with Gamble. And Niedenfuhr quickly ahead at 0-2. The fastball clocked at 91 miles per hour.
This kid looks better and better.
Oh, 2 pitch. Pop foul and back out of play. Randolph at second, Jackson at first. And it's lined into right center, so the strategy backfires. Randolph around third comes in to score. Jackson is on his way to third. Strong throw, but not in time. Reggie is in safely, and the Yankees now lead it 5-3.
Let's see how Jackson is. He started limping. He drove himself into this right there. He beat it, yes. Took a lot of guts on his part.
Pedro Guerrero with a strong throw into third, but Reggie going all the way with 2 down. And in there. 5-3 Yankees with Jackson at third, Gamble at first, and Bob Watson 0 for 1 today with a sacrifice fly and a walk. 0-1. Jackson the runner at third.
To see how gingerly he just walked there.
Well, when he
got to be bothering him.
Intentionally walked him, he limped down to first base. I think that's why this game is so important to the Yankees. If they win, they have an option whether to play Reggie tomorrow. Give him an extra day or two of rest.
Reggie at third. If they win today, as Jim says, they can rest him tomorrow. Monday is an off day. If necessary, Game 6 on Tuesday night at Yankee Stadium. Just inside. 1-2 the count. Out of play. Still 1-2 on Watson. Bob's wife, Carol. The 1-2 to Watson. Fouled away again. Yankees with 9 hits, the Dodgers with 8. Jackson at third, Gamble at first. The run and any subsequent runs would be unearned because of the throwing error that started the inning by Reuschel. Breaking pitch just missing as Niedenfuer starts off the mound. 2-2.
Looks like a pretty good pitch, but I'm not the umpire. I know if I was pitching, I'd certainly want it. Good pitch to make when you have 1 ball and 2 strikes on a hitter.
Watson fouling it away, remaining alive with a count 2-2. The Yankees have had men on in every inning outside of the 5th. Niedenfuer setting them down in order in the 5th.
Would have had them in order again this inning if it hadn't been for the error by Reuschel.
Exactly. The 2-2 pitch is lined to left field. Baker on the move. Dusty diving, but they say no. They say he trapped it. It's a base hit as Jackson comes in to score. The throw goes to second. Gamble winds up at third. Baker will plead his case with the left field foul line umpire Nick Pelosi. And here comes Lasorda for the second time in the inning. But the Yankees now lead it 6-3.
Let's see if we can take another look at this one. Here it is. How did it look to you, Jim?
I couldn't really tell. You know, the umpire was a lot closer even in the replay.
Pelosi on the line in left field. Looking at it live, I thought he trapped it. I thought Pelosi made the right call. I'm not so sure after watching the replay, though.
I thought I saw it touch green. Look at a rear view now. Well, that way I couldn't tell, but the other way, and watching it live with you, Al, I thought he trapped it. Suddenly, though, 2 line shots off this young pitcher. 1 ball, though. Slow it down. I think he trapped it.
I did, too.
Well, you mentioned the 2 line drives. He got Oscar Gamble 0-2. And as you just said earlier, pitchers are human, and Rudy May hung a curveball to Say to get him out of the ball game. Niedenfuer got behind. And here
Gamble's going to come out for pinch runner Brown.
Number 13, Bobby Brown.
Another look.
Okay, we blew the picture up. Sorry. He trapped it.
That's the call as the Yankees lead it 6-3, and Rick Cerrone at the plate. It's a fly ball to right center field. Rick Monday coming on and makes a catch, but in the inning, the error by Reuschel very costly. As the Yankees come up with a couple of runs, they're both unearned on 2 hits, leave a couple, and at the end of 5 1/2, the football today. We'll go to New York and Jim Lampley.
Very quickly, some scores we weren't able to bring you earlier. Baylor beat Texas Christian 34-21. Washington traveled to the Southwest Conference to play Texas Tech. 4 field goals and a safety. They won 14-7. Texas A&M beat Rice 51-26. 6 touchdown passes for A&M quarterback Gary Kubiak. Wyoming is beating Brigham Young 27-14 in the 4th quarter, despite a good performance by Brigham Young quarterback Jim McMahon. Arizona State and Stanford are lighting up the scoreboard. It's 27-24 at halftime. John Elway of Stanford passed for 270 yards in the first half. But Darren Nelson, the Stanford halfback, is out temporarily with a concussion. California playing UCLA, and it's a rough go for the Golden Bears as the Bruins lead 34-0 in the 3rd quarter. Air Force and Oregon, a couple of teams which have struggled all season. 20-10 the final, with Air Force winning that one. Now let's look at the top 10. Number 1 ranked Penn State won 30-7. Pittsburgh trailed early but came back to beat Syracuse 23-10. Upset in Chapel Hill. 3rd-ranked North Carolina fell to South Carolina 31-13 and lost starting quarterback Rod Elkins to an injury. 4th-ranked Southern Cal beat Notre Dame 14-7 in South Bend. 5th-ranked Clemson beat North Carolina State 17-7. Moving farther down in the top 10, 6th-ranked Georgia shut out Kentucky 21-0. 7th-ranked Iowa joined North Carolina as an upset victim, falling 12-10 to Minnesota on 4 Minnesota field goals by Jim Gallery. Texas didn't score a touchdown either, but nevertheless the Longhorns bounced back from last week's loss, beating highly rated Southern Methodist 9-7. 9th-ranked Alabama beat Rutgers 31-7, and 10th-ranked Southern Mississippi won a close one from Auburn 21-17. That's it in college football. Let's go back to Al Michaels.
All right, Jim, and for the Yankees, Dave Winfield moves from center to left. Bobby Brown, who went into pinch run for Gamble after Oscar had reached 3rd in the top of the inning, stays in the game in center. Yankees ahead 6-3 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Pedro Guerrero leading things off for Los Angeles.
Very interesting that he put Bobby Brown. There's Tom.
Well, sort of obviously upset over the 2 calls
No
in the
question
top of the
about
inning.
that, but this is curious, Jim. He puts in Bobby Brown, who has played so sparingly, instead of Jerry Mumphrey in center field, who's been his regular center fielder all year and is a gifted fly chaser.
I have no idea.
Got an opinion?
Guerrero. It's a fly ball to right center. Bobby Brown is there. No problem with this one. One away.
Oh, he's a good fielder, Brown. Nobody's deprecating his defensive ability, but it's kind of odd, I think.
Well, you'd think Jerry Mumphrey would have started the ballgame, considering he's one of the 2 guys on the Yankees that can run. And you finally had a right-handed pitcher. And Bob Welch, he also is the highest batting average for the Yankees this year, but I think they're a little bit disappointed with his hitting so far here in the series.
Now, we pointed out he was the out man last night. He fought Valenzuela exactly the wrong way.
Socha the batter. Low and inside, ball 1. That's Dave Stewart throwing in the Dodger bullpen. He'll come on in the top of the 7th inning. Socha batting here, the number 8 hitter. Niedenfuhr due up next. No doubt won't hit. And as yet, the Dodgers have not sent anybody out into the on-deck circle, though Jay Johnstone now has a bat in the dugout. 2-0 the count on Socha. 6 runs, 10 hits, and no errors for the Yanks. 3 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error for the Dodgers with 1 out and the bases empty. Bottom of the 6th. Davis, who feels more comfortable working out of the stretch, even with nobody on, deals 2-0 and misses for ball 3. Aboard on 4. So Mike at first base with 1 out, and it is Jay Johnstone who emerges from the Dodger dugout to bat for Niedenfuhr. Johnstone, despite the low average during the regular season, had 3 pinch hit home runs this year. Tops in the league.
I was sure we'd see him today, even if Reuschel had pitched very well and been able to stay in there, because his career batting average against Reuschel was .432 with a .727 slugging percentage. Point, he's a good pinch hitter, dangerous. Davis having trouble with his control, as Jim Palmer has stated.
Gets this one in for a strike, 0-1.
We saw Johnstone in the first game come in and single crisply off Gossage to right field, and then he lined out in the second game, again off Gossage.
1-1 the count. On the subject of Gossage, it might not be long before we see the goose in the Yankee bullpen, but not at the moment. Johnstone fouls it away.
This team keeps fighting back, Jim. Absolutely no quit in them. They established it so vividly during the previous playoff series. A lot of spunk.
The 1-2 pitch to Johnstone. Hit high in the air to deep right center field. Bobby Brown looking up. Johnstone put it out.
Davis has not been pitching the way he pitched during the season. And this team, what character? The Los Angeles Dodgers.
Well, if you said where you didn't want to throw a ball would be out over the plate. Johnstone still has to hit it, but as you said, he's got a quick bat, good pinch hitter. Hits it way back in right center.
So the Dodgers keep trying to get up off the deck. They trailed 4-0, made it 4-2, then 4-3. Yankees got 2 runs in the top of the inning to make it 6-3. It's now 6-5. The crowd wants Johnstone to reemerge from the dugout, and here he comes. So the salute for Jay, who makes it 6-5, and Davey Lopes, the batter.
From a pitcher's perspective, I mean, Davis obviously threw his best fastball out over the plate, and you have to give Johnson credit, but the thing that hurts you the most is the base on balls with a 3-run lead.
And that's been his problem in recent days.
Well, we talked last night about the base running errors. The things that managers hate the most are the mental errors. And I know part of walking people are physical, but it's also mental. It's just something you can't afford to do when you've got a 3-run lead.
He's behind here.
He's behind 2-0, and he is digging his own grave. And Lasorda, at the same time, is still thinking about, while his hope quickens because of the Johnstone homer, he's still thinking about those 2 umpire calls in the last Yankee turn at bat.
Lopes taking all the way, looks at a strike, and it's 2-1. That's Frazier, who was up very early today, throwing again. In the Dodger bullpen, that's Steve Howe. He'll be coming on to pitch in the top of the 7th inning.
Turned out to be some ball game in the pattern of yesterdays. A lot of drama.
2-1 on Davey Lopes.
The goose. There's the goose watching.
And a strike as Davey Lopes barks about the call, and Doug Harvey rips the mask off.
Here you see a fastball Davey thinks is low.
I must say, lip reading isn't even an art when you're watching Lasorda.
Well, what you're seeing, though, both the calls last inning are emotional calls. Lasorda knows he can't give the Yankees any other chances.
Lopes popping it in the air. Shallow right field. Jackson is coming on. Reggie having problems. Can't make the catch. Watson picks it up, and Lopes is at second. Reggie played that ball as if he never saw it.
So easy to second guess. Look at that. Hit him in the chest. He didn't see it. So easy to second guess. Put your best defensive outfield in there, beginning 3 runs ahead in the bottom of the 6th.
Bill Reuschel, the batter, a chopper, foul outside third. Mammoth break for the Dodgers as Welch is at second. 1 away in the bottom of the 6th inning. Yankees ahead 6-5.
With Reggie limping, you had to wonder about an outfield of Brown and Mumphrey and Winfield. But it's easy to second guess, isn't it, Jim?
Well, brings back memories of the 66 World Series where in the game I pitched against Koufax, Davis dropped the 2 fly balls. After he dropped the second one, he picked it up and threw it about 10 rows over their dugout. Very tough sky here sometimes in Los Angeles, especially as you saw with Reggie. Once you don't see the ball, it's very hard to pick it up again because you're looking right into the sun. Had his glasses on, did everything right except catch it.
Welch is going to third, and he'll make it uncontested.
Davis, unbelievable. When did you last see a Yankee team make so many mistakes?
Well, good base runners always say it's easier to steal third. You don't have a first baseman holding you as close as you do at the second base position.
The 0-2 pitch with the infield in is fouled away.
You had to have a feeling about these Dodgers the way they kept coming back.
Tying run just 90 feet away. 1 out. Lopes at third. No balls, 2 strikes the count on Reuschel. Garvey on deck. Line drive, base hit, and the game is tied. And Bob Lemon going to the mound. So the Dodgers, with 3 runs here in the bottom of the 6th inning, have tied it at 6. Bill Reuschel with his first hit of the day and the 10th for the Dodgers. And the call has gone out to the Yankee bullpen. It will be Frazier coming in here in the 6th inning with Steve Garvey coming up for Los Angeles. So Davis, who came on in the 5th inning and looked like the Davis of old, striking out Baker and Monday, comes apart and unglued here in the bottom of the 6th inning as Frazier comes out of the Yankee pen.
Now the burden is on the young man who pitched well last night, who got the bad breaks on the Baltimore chops by first Garvey and then Guerrero. But this suddenly has become a series in which every key mistake is being made by the Yankee ball club. And it's a fan series. Never mind the mistakes, they get the excitement they want out of it. In this case, the excitement goes for the Dodger fans because the game is in Los Angeles. There was Davis on the mound while Lopes just loped to third for a stolen base. And he couldn't get his fastball past Reuschel. And indeed, as Jim Palmer pointed out, he started off, that's where we get pictures from, such as you've been seeing. He started off with the base on balls, then Jay Johnstone with the pitch, up and over, bang, pinch home run.
There is Davis with Joe Altobelli, the third base coach, in the foreground as Frazier completes his warm-ups. Saw that aerial shot from the Goodyear blip. Dodger Stadium really rocking. It's been a quiet crowd early.
And of all people,
dominated early.
Al, of all people to be coming up, the man who's 3 for 3, Steve Garvey.
And 8 for 14 in the World Series. Totals are identical. Each team 6 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. Reuschel at first base with still just 1 out in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Reuschel certainly atoned, Jim, for his throw on Randolph.
That he did. The big play is a stolen base. Makes you play your infield in, puts the pressure on the pitcher. And as you said, pitchers are human. We've seen that all afternoon. They're just not making good pitches. The ball that Reuschel hit was a fastball up in the middle of the plate. Davis throws that pitch low and away. Might be a different story, but he wasn't able to do it today.
Time had been called. No pitch there. Garvey had stepped out. The count's still 0-1.
You go back to last night's ball game. Frazier pitched very well. You said he had a couple of the high choppers, but what set up that whole inning was the walk to Say. He tried to throw him a 3-2 breaking ball, missed, walked him. Guerrero punched the ball over Rodriguez's head.
A beauty, 0-2. Lasorda's been steaming the whole inning, top and bottom.
And he just hopes by talking to Doug Harvey that maybe he'll get a pitch once in a while. Might not be the next one, but sooner or later.
Garvey gets under it, lifts it in the air to left field. Winfield is there. That's the 2nd out. So they get Garvey for the first time today. And it brings up Say. Say 4 for 13 in the series. Say. Reuschel at first. Still driving in the tying run with a base hit here in the 6th.
Then the problem again of getting behind the hitter.
2-1.
What a difference a half an inning can make, huh? 2 such vastly different men. Terms of personnel.
Say lining it to left field, hooking and going foul. So Reuschel goes back to first, and Say will come back up with the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nothing happening in the Yankee pen at the moment. Frazier due up 2nd when the Yankees come to bat in the top of the 7th inning.
Dodgers had been doing no hitting in postseason play. They began last night with Say's 3-run home run. Today, they're really teeing off.
Say fouling it off the mask of Cerrone. Count holding it 2-2.
Why I never was a catcher. Hits the bottom half of the ball and it goes right off Cerrone's mask.
Two on Ron. And the count is full. Howard just mentioned the Dodgers coming to life last night. Prior to last night's game, the Dodgers in 12 postseason games had a cumulative team batting average of only .204. The 5 runs, 11 hits last night, 6 runs, 10 hits already today. Reuschel will be going on the pitch, and the 3-2 delivery is hit high in the air to left field. Winfield underneath this one. And that's that for the Dodgers in the 6th inning. But the Dodgers in the 6th come up with 3 runs. 2 on the pinch homer by Johnstone. Reuschel driving in the tying run. Pick up a couple of hits, 1 error. And at the end of 6 full, Yankees 6, Dodgers 6.
Recently, a few extraordinary wines were entered in a prestigious international competition. Wines made from costly varietal grapes, harvested in some of the world's finest growing regions. An oak-aged Chardonnay, a deep, full-flavored Burgundy, a light, dry Chenin Blanc, a varietal Rosé, a spicy Gewürztraminer. And each of these wines, all from a single winemaker, was judged to be among the best of the world.
Silver medal, gold medal, silver, gold, gold medal.
The wines, all from America, all from California, and all from the wine cellars of America's premier vintners, Ernest and Julio Gallo.
The King Center is a living memorial to Dr. King and the dream he had. It is the first national park and monument created to honor a black American. More than a beautiful building, the center represents a commitment to nonviolence and cooperation among people of all nations. At the King Center, the dream is still alive.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Americans are megadosing on vitamins.
As the miles accumulate, you want to slow down the mileage.
What are the benefits? Are there dangers? Monday, watch ABC's World News Tonight.
Through 6, Yankees 6, and the Dodgers 6. And Steve Howe becomes the 5th Dodger pitcher. Welch started, Goltz, Forster, Niedenfuhr, now Howe, who pitched briefly in Game 2, came on in the 8th inning. Wednesday night, got Winfield to fly out, but then gave up a single to Pinella and a base hit to Nettles. He'll go to work here on Aurelio Rodriguez. Frazier, the pitcher, is due up next. Nobody yet out in the on-deck circle. And then Willie Randolph will hit 3rd in the inning. In the Yankee bullpen, you've got Gossage, the right-hander, and Tommy John, who was the starter in Game 2, the left-hander. Goose has his game face on. You would think, you would suspect that John is just down there throwing between starts at this point, but maybe not.
Well, it's a big gamble because Gossage has said he doesn't mind pitching 2 days in a row, but he doesn't like to do it.
Rodriguez starts things with a base hit into left center field. Guerrero with a long run, and Rodriguez will try to stretch it to throw into Reuschel. They nail it. Guerrero was over in right center. They left him a gap there as Baker moves back toward left. A long way to go to come up with the ball in the gap, and Rodriguez, with not very good foot speed, gets thrown out.
Well, the first base coach is a man named Ferraro. He was involved with sending a runner home against Kansas City, kept his job, but moved from 3rd to 1st. I don't know about now.
Frazier hitting for himself and trying to bunt his way on. 0-1 the count.
Rodriguez markedly slow of foot. Everybody knows it.
See, he hesitates right at first. Did not come out of the box. Thinking double.
The 1-1 to Frazier, a swinging bunt, and fouls it into about the 7th row.
They have spent the past 2 days, the Yankees, destroying themselves.
Bounce to the right side, and a nice stop by Garvey. He'll do it himself. Steve over toward the line. The Garvey gets the extra base hit. And making a nice play to take care of Frazier.
Nice play by Steve. And he does it himself, the safe way.
Willie Randolph coming up. Randolph has been on each time today. Tripled in the first, homered in the second, walked in the fourth, and then got aboard on the big error by Reuschel in the sixth inning. That led to 2 Yankee runs. 2 out, bases empty. 1-0. Say at third, Garvey at first, both up against the respective lines. Cut down the chances of the extra base hit. 2-0 to count. Milburn on deck. There's Rodriguez, cut down, trying to stretch it here in the 7th inning. To right field. Monday Cosin. That's that for the Yankees. No runs, 1 hit. Nobody left through 6 1/2. It remains Yankees 6, Dodgers 6 back in Los Angeles after this commercial. And a word from our local stations.
Want to know 4 ways to help get better gas mileage?
Tell us, Mr. Goodwrench.
First, air up. Keeping tires at recommended pressure can help save up to a gallon of gas per tank. Next, tune up. That can help save up to 2 gallons.
Wow!
Then, clean up. Get new filters. And slow up. You can go farther on a tank full.
Keep that great GM feeling. Nice and tankful, Mr. Goodwrench. With genuine GM parts.
Tomorrow at 8, a 2-hour premiere of a hot new series, Today's FBI.
They asked me to take off my football uniform to tell you about this new Adams Row suit from Richmond. It's a rich classic look. I'd call it traditional, in quiet colors and patterns and the great feel of wool. I like this natural look. If you do, you've got to see these new suits. You can find Adams Row only at a Richmond store. Once you try Richmond, no one else will suit you. Now, can I have my stuff back? Time out, guys.
American Airlines is rolling out some great news. A new low fare to 3 American cities. Now you can fly to New York, Washington, or Boston for only $195. Just $195 each way with a round-trip night coach Super Saver ticket. Because at American, saving you money is one of the things we do best.
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
DMSO and X-rated TV starts Wednesday on 7.
And here you're going to see the tag by Reuschel on the attempted double. Rodriguez slides way early, does not go to the inside of the bag. You can see his head kind of going into the dirt. Reuschel has time to tag him before. If he went to the inside of the bag, he might have had a better chance to be safe.
Aurelio thrown out, trying to stretch it, leading off in the top of the 7th as we go now to the bottom of the 7th inning with Dusty Baker facing George Frazier. The game tied at 6, and it's fouled away. Baker to be followed by Monday and Guerrero. Yankees with 11 hits, the Dodgers with 10 in a ball game right now approaching the 3-hour mark. Fouled away again in the count 0-2. Yankees led 4-0 going to the bottom of the 3rd. Dodgers picking up 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 5th to make it 4-3. Yankees picking up a couple of unearned runs in the top of the 6th to go in front 6-3. And the Dodgers coming back with 3 in the bottom of the 6th to tie it. 1-2. Baker just 1 for 13 in the series. In the air, down the line and right, and curling foul and dropping untouched.
I think one of the reasons that Dusty's had so many problems is that Normally, he's a much better hitter when he gets the pitcher in the hole, and the Yankees so far have been able to get out in front of him. And he's not getting the pitch, or at least the good pitch, to hit. He's a much better hitter than he's shown. Capable of hitting home runs, extra base hits. Likes the ball down in the middle of the plate. Can hit it a long way.
Outside, you're right. Dusty's looked at a lot of 0-2, 1-2 pitches. They'll look here at a 2-2 offering.
And again, count 2-2. Takes a fastball just off the plate.
Slow chopper. Going to be a tough play. Milburn bare hands throws. No play at first. So Dusty Baker gets things started in the bottom of the 7th inning with a base hit.
And as you look at it again, the pattern continues. It began last night with the ballpark working for the Dodgers. Either Baltimore chops or one like that. And then somehow they have the capacity to capitalize. Whereas the Yankees have not only not capitalized, but have made a succession of mistakes that have been simply shocking for a Yankee ball club. If the Yankee owner explodes, I think in this case it may be understandable to many.
Rick Monday, who, as you can see, did not have a sacrifice this season, up there with Baker at first base and nobody out. Rodriguez has to guard against the bunt at third, but Rick is up there to swing away and takes in the dirt. Cerrone had trouble finding it, but no advance. Baker remaining at first base.
There's Mrs. Monday, Terry Monday. There is Rick. Really got great personal charm.
There is Greg Nettles on the bench again today.
I think you'll see him in there tomorrow.
Well, he took batting practice and not hit the ball like he can. Didn't seem to be bothering him too much.
In the air to center field. Brown circled around it and can't make the play. Baker rounding second as Jackson comes up with the ball. Dusty will go to third and Monday in at second.
Now you tell me, go back to what I said a couple of innings ago. Why isn't Jerry Mumphrey in center field? Everything's catching up to these Yankee mistakes today.
Here he's not hit too well to center. Brown takes a step back, can't recover, tries to make a nice effort, just doesn't get to the ball. Tries to make the shoestring catch. Reggie heads up play, backing him up.
Baker had to hold between first and second to see if the ball would be caught. So Monday was running up his back. Meanwhile, Guerrero will be walked intentionally to load the bases with nobody out and bring up Socha. So in the 7th inning, the Dodgers and the Yankees tied 6-6. Los Angeles will have the bases loaded and nobody out. And Socha, good contact hitter, a man who struck out only 18 times all season and figures to put the ball in play coming up.
Al, I have checked. You were with me. There is absolutely nothing wrong with Jerry Mumphrey.
I agree with Jim. I can't figure it out either. Can't figure out the reasoning. Lemon's going to go to the mound. Gossage in the bullpen. Tommy John was also throwing.
He's going to John. He said the left-hander. Is that John?
And he wants to know, do they want me? You could see him in the bullpen saying, me? Do they want me? And the answer is yes. So Tommy John, the second game starter, on in relief with the game tied 6-6. We'll be back in a moment.
America's going diesel and Chevy's leading the way with more kinds of diesel cars and trucks than anyone by far. Like a dandy new 5-speed diesel Chevette, just one of 49 diesel models made for the different things you do.
We've got dirt road diesels,
Delivery diesels,
dignitary diesels,
Dr. Diesels.
Daddy diesels,
Dapper diesels too.
Diesels, Chevy's got more than anyone by far.
Chevy makes good things happen.
As an intelligent consumer, I wanted to compare Atari asteroids with other companies' asteroids. But other companies don't make asteroids. I wanted to compare Atari Missile Command with other companies' missile commands. But other companies don't make that either. Finally, I wanted to compare the new Atari Warlords. Unfortunately, other companies don't make it. When it comes to the video games the world wants most, nobody compares to Atari.
You're about to see an incredible machine. This is the 8200 copier from Xerox. It feeds originals automatically. It gives you XL10 quality copies on both sides. It reduces, it collates, it even staples. Now, to operate a machine that does as much as the 8200, you'll have to acquire some very special skills. You'll have to learn how to do this.
Tomorrow, for the first time ever, live network start-to-finish coverage of the New York City Marathon. And on ABC Sports Beat, Howard Cosell one-on-one with the man behind the success and turmoil of the New York Yankees, George Steinbrenner, Patton in pinstripes. Plus, a look at the striking beauty who might just be the best lady golfer in the world. And the World Series continues. Quite a day tomorrow on ABC.
Tommy John on the mound. You got to put this whole thing in perspective. The Yankee pitching staff has failed today. Reuschel couldn't do the job. May did it, but only for a short time. But the key was Ron Davis's failure to hold for 2 or 3 innings, because everything Lemon's now doing has been predicated upon the fact that he didn't want to bring Gossage in too soon for Goose. He had hoped to get to a situation where he could use Goose for 2 innings. He didn't. Now Tommy John.
The Dodgers counter with pinch hitter Steve Yeager batting for Scioscia and looking at a strike. 0-1. The base is loaded with nobody out. Bottom of the 7th inning, Dean tied 6-6. Yankee infield playing in. Yeager lining it to right field. Jackson is there. It should score Baker. Dusty tags at third. On his way home, the Dodgers have the lead.
Would be there to do the job. The man who told you yesterday that he wants out because he hasn't had the opportunity to play.
So Yeager with a sacrifice fly, and that is very important to the Dodgers right now, in as much as they've gone through their bullpen, and that keeps Steve Howe in the game. Whereas Lasorda might have had a decision to make if Yeager had, let's say, bounced into a 1-2-3 double play or popped out.
Now look how this unsettles the Yankees pitching staff in terms of the remainder of the series. Does this wipe John out of a...
Now up there to bunt, lays it down to Rodriguez at third. He'll make the play at first. Randolph covers, runners advance to second and third with 2 down.
Does this effort today wipe John out of another starting shot, Jim?
I would doubt it. I think that Bob Lemon, when bringing him in, was hoping that they would stay with Scioscia. Maybe he'd get an out because he knew Howe was coming up next, and the Dodgers may have to let him hit. But as it turns out now, I would think that you'd only see Tommy John pitch this inning. They have to go to Gossage. He hasn't pitched in a couple of days anyway. Probably could use the work.
Dodgers leading it 7-6. Monday at third, Guerrero at second with 2 down. Bottom of the 7th inning, Davey Lowe's. 1 for 4 today, 3 for 14 in the series. One and 0 the count.
I think the biggest Yankee fear is that Gossage has said many times doesn't mind pitching back-to-back days, but not 3 innings. Anything over that really tires his arm.
Blocked by Cerrone. 2-0 the count. Tommy John making his first relief appearance since 1979. came out in relief May the 1st of '79 at Anaheim. The count. First base open, and Bill Reuschel on deck. Welch gets the green light, hits a chopper, and Rodriguez has no play. It's 8-6.
The whole thing has become absurd. The Dodgers have the most look-atomic, the most patented attack I've ever seen. I talked about Seaver in geology. Hit the ball straight down on that clay around home plate. You got a base hit.
Here you say a sinker.
It's funny. Watch where it hits. See? Bang.
Well, we've seen the inning was started by Dusty Baker hitting a topper. Again on a good pitcher by Frazier. John made a good pitch.
Reuschel takes outside, 1-0.
It's a tough pitch to defense. Well, I think the whole point here is that, especially today's game, that it illustrates that the Yankees bullpen is not invincible. That Lemon has to use Gossage sparingly because he can't trust the rest of his bullpen. And going into this series, they felt that Davis and Gossage would do the job they've done during the playoffs in the season. Gives them a lot of leeway to use them in many different ways.
It's 3-0 on Reuschel.
Marianne Russell, Bill Russell's wife.
The Dodgers shortstop, the 7th man to come up in the inning. 3-0 the count. Willie taken all the way and looks at a strike. Guerrero is at third.
I tell you, after this World Series, you know, they called the bunt game Billy Ball with a lot of other things. I don't know what you call this except Dodger Ball.
That's a strike. Matty Alou Ball. Full count on Russell. We'll see Lopes taking off from first base. And the 3-2 pitch is grounded foul outside third.
He didn't hit it down straight enough. If he did, it might have been down the left field foul line by now for a double.
Lopes on the move, and the pitch is grounded to short. Milburn has to play it at first, and in time there to retire the side. And in the 7th inning, the Los Angeles Dodgers come up with a couple of runs, 3 hits, and lead 2. We'll go to the 8th with the Dodgers in front, 8-6. For the Dodgers now, as we move to the 8th inning, Darryl Thomas takes over in center field. He'll bat in Rick Monday's spot, the number 6 spot. Pedro Guerrero moves from center over to right and adjusts the glasses. Steve Yeager, who delivered the sacrifice fly to drive in the tie-breaking run, stays in the game back of the plate. And with the Dodgers in front, 8-6, Larry Milburn to lead things off, to be followed by Winfield and Jackson. Steve Howe, his game to win. Starts with a strike, 0-1. Line to center, right at Thomas. 1 out. Darryl tested immediately, and Howe goes to work now on Dave Winfield.
I'm thinking of poor George Frazier. He's got to be shell-shocked. Comes in last night, Jim. Pitches beautifully, but 2 Baltimore chops. Get rid of him. Comes in today, pitches Dusty Baker beautifully on the Dodger infield hit, as you look at Winfield, and then a fly ball to center field, and Bobby Brown's out there, and it becomes a double. How would you like that to happen?
It's happened many times. It's just circumstance a lot of the times. A lot of times you make good pitches and you're not always rewarded. A lot of times you make a bad pitch, and as we saw right there, a line drive to center fielder for an out.
Winfield hitting it in the air to deep right center field. Darryl Thomas all the way back, and it's simply a 390-foot out. So Winfield, who drove Baker to the wall in the 6th inning, drives Thomas to the track in the 8th. 2 down.
He hits more fly balls close to the fence, but not over, than anyone I've ever seen.
Well, Thomas can play a lot of positions, and he has a lot of speed. Got back to that ball easily.
Makes the basket catch, as he's prone to do. And with 2 down, here's Reggie Jackson. 2 singles, 2 walks. Been aboard 4 times.
Now has not made 2 particularly good pitches to the first 2 hitters, but he has not, as Ron Davis did, walked anybody with a 2-run lead.
1-0. Two out, bases empty. Dodgers ahead 8-6. 1-1. To deep right center field.
Forget it.
And Reggie Jackson gets aboard for the 5th time as he'll move it all the way around. A home run for Jackson, who loves this ballpark. 6 World Series home runs at Dodger Stadium in Reggie's career.
Some ball game, huh, folks? 1-run game again.
There you can see the home run. It's a fastball up and away, and when you're as strong as Reggie, you can see him extend. Ball wasn't quite enough away.
Meanwhile, with Brown due up, it will be Lou Piniella coming up to pinch hit with 2 out and the bases empty. That home run by Reggie is the 10th in the World Series in his career. And of course, the first time he had a chance to play in the series back in '72, he was hurt, was injured in the championship series against Detroit. Missed the first 3 games here. Back in the lineup today with 2 singles, 2 walks, and a home run. And that's where he stands on the all-time list. And a tie with Lou Gehrig for 5th. Some pretty good company.
Great company, and a good chance before he's through to at least pass the Duke and Yogi. And he's only 5 from the Babe.
Lou Piniella with 2 out and no one on. 1-0. Cynthia Howe, Steve's wife. Holding on. A strike on the count 1-1. Little squibber, fielded by Howe. Rifles it to first, and Piniella. And the Yankees are done in the 8th. But they never run as Jackson hits one out. And at the end of 7 1/2, it's the Dodgers 8, the Yankees 7, back in Los Angeles after this commercial. And a word from our local stations. Lou Piniella stays in the game for the Yankees. He pinch hit and is in left, and Dave Winfield, who started in center, went to left, is now back where he started. Bottom of the 8th inning, the Dodgers in front, 8-7. Steve Garvey, Ron Say, and Dusty Baker with Tommy John still on in relief. Garvey hitting it foul in the count 0-1.
Al, do you suppose the manager had orders not to play Mumphrey under any circumstances?
It's beginning to look that way. I can't understand it if it wasn't a direct edict.
Talking about a 307 hitter.
They get the appeal on the strike on the hand swing, and the count is 0-2. That's Bert Hooton, scheduled to be the pitcher in Game 6 Probably just throwing between starts in the Dodger bullpen. But then again, they have gone through the pen.
Yeah, but somebody suggested that about John. I think you.
Well, I said maybe. I said you don't know. I mean, even Tommy didn't know he was warming up to get into the game. You saw him.
Yeah.
Call went out for him. 1-2 the count. When John came in, he said, "Who, me?" Count holding at 1-2. When the Yankees come to bat in the 9th inning, Watson, Cerrone, and Rodriguez will be the hitters. Still 1-2 on Garvey.
After this game, I'm rather confused, but because of Righetti getting knocked out so early last night, Bob Lemon, the Yankee manager, has many options. Tommy throws a lot in between starts, but he can keep him back for Wednesday. He could start Righetti on Tuesday. I would think he'd want the veteran going in what conceivably a very big game for the Yankees.
Wait a minute, this game isn't over yet.
No, you're right. Exactly.
2-2 on Garvey.
Although I'm beginning to think that anytime there's a crisis, a Dodger batter will hit one right onto the plate.
Garvey foul tipping it into Cerrone's glove. 1 away.
Well, it seems so distant now, but remember, Monday Night Football this Monday night, Three Rivers Stadium. The Houston Oilers, Earl Campbell, Kenny Stabler, and the rest of the crowd against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Both still very much in their Central Divisional race in the AFC, but each fighting back from a strong loss last Sunday.
Ron Say, 1-0 the count. Say 1 for 4 today. Drove in a run with a 5th inning single. Line drive, base hit into right field. With 1 out, Ron Say, a single to right, and Dusty Baker the batter. So the Dodgers erupted last night with 11 hits and 14 today. 25 in the 2 games. After their offense had been dormant, basically in games 1 and 2. Low to Baker, and the count is 1-0. The Dodgers have had at least 1 hit in every inning today. Time called. Ron Say to tie his shoe.
That was a Dave LaRoche pitch. Or a Rip Sewell. There's interesting profile. Tense, Davey looks.
John checking Say. Steve Garvey. 3 hits for Garvey today. Two and on Baker. Say it first with 1 out. 8-7 Dodgers in the 8th. 3-0. Gerald Thomas is on deck. Baker, green lighted. It's a fly ball to center field and an easy play for Dave Winfield. 2 away. Harold Thomas will come up, batting for the first time in the game.
Well, Sauter's clearly almost desperate to get Baker on track. Gives him a green light, 3-0, when he hasn't been hitting at all.
Sometimes that'll
Get him started.
Exactly.
That's what he had in mind.
We had a Mexican player, Andy Mora. Earl Weaver very successfully let him hit 3-0. Hit about 4 3-0 home runs one year. A lot of hitters have trouble hitting 3-0. They're not patient enough. They feel like there's a responsibility that they have to swing at that particular pitch. They puts a lot of pressure on.
Fouled away by Thomas.
Ron Davis, maybe the unhappiest man. If there were one transcendental key to this game, it was his failure to hold the fort. Lemon wanted to get 2-3 good innings. He didn't get it. I'm wondering how much more you still get out of John. It didn't work just one inning, Jim, and he's wavering a little bit.
1-1 pitch is outside to Thomas, 2-1.
Well, it seems to me what Lemon is saying is that if we don't win today, I want to have Gossage ready tomorrow to go 3 innings. Apparently, not that he's giving up today, because anytime you have Tommy John out there, he can pitch a good game, but just wonder what this is going to do to his start on Tuesday night if he does pitch.
2-1 to Thomas is fouled away. 2-2 on Darrell. Crowd today, 56,242. And that's a new all-time stadium record. 6 more than last night showing up. Thomas down on strikes. And so Tommy John able to set the Dodgers down in the 8th inning. No runs, a hit, and they leave Say at first. So the Yankees will come up, watching to lead things off in the top of the ninth, 8-7, Los Angeles. Al Michaels, Howard Cosell, and Jim Palmer at Dodger Stadium. It's been a wild one, a game that has taken about 3 hours and 20 minutes at this point. Through 8, it's 8-7, Los Angeles, and Steve Howe trying to get the Dodgers even in the series. Going to work on the Yankees in the 9th inning and scheduled to face Watson, Cerrone, and Rodriguez. Houghton is still up and throwing in the Dodger bullpen. Bob Watson. 1 for 2, plus a walk and a sacrifice fly. 1-0 the count. And behind now, 2-0.
Which has really been the scenario most of the time the Dodger pitchers have been facing Watson. And Earl Weaver has a pretty good saying with a 1-run lead in the 9th inning, you cannot get beat until somebody gets on. The last thing you want to do here is give Watson a free base on balls.
Well, Howe's been living dangerously.
That he
been hit hard, but to the fielders.
Grounded to short. Reuschel to his left, and the throw pulls Garvey off, but he makes the sweep tag at first. And Watson screaming at Rich Garcia. Lemon will join the argument as Ferraro tries to move Watson away. Garvey with a sweep tag going by. Look at it from this angle. Russell's throw pulling Garvey off, and did he get him?
Ooh. Why didn't Watson slide as Randolph did? That's a situation for a slide. What?
Well, he may never play again.
I guess.
He weighs about somewhere around the 230 pound range.
But he would have clearly been saved then.
Well, that's why I was surprised that Randolph was able to do that. That's a tough decision to make when you're in full stride.
Rick Cerrone looks at a strike.
You're trying to run down first base as hard as you can, and the last moment go into a slide. You're exactly right. He would have been safe if he had done that, but it's a difficult thing to do.
0-1 to Cerrone. Inside, 1-1 on Rick.
I don't see George Steinbrenner in his booth.
The 1-1 pitch. Ground ball up the middle for a base hit. So the Yankees get the tying run aboard. Rick Cerrone with a one-out single to center here in the ninth inning. And Aurelio Rodriguez coming up.
Is he?
Rodriguez started up and now back, and it looks like they may go to Barry Foote, the reserve catcher, a man with some power. And it is Foote who will come up here to bat for Rodriguez.
But also very slow. A perfect double play man, as was Rodriguez. Maybe there's a time in this business when you should forsake this absolute law of platooning. A situation like this, what's wrong with using Bobby Mercer, who has hit left-handers very well in his career?
Well, it's funny you would say that, because I talked to Bobby after game 2, and he said if there was a left-hander that he wanted to face on the Dodger staff, it's Steve Howe, because basically he throws mostly fastballs right over the top. It's not like he's coming from the sidearm position, which gives most left-handers trouble. But really what Lemon is doing here is hoping that Foote won't hit a ground ball and that he can get a good pitch to hit. And we did see the ball hit hard off Powell last inning. It's a matter of whether Steve can make some good pitches here.
Barry Foote going for the downs in the count of 1-1. Foote acquired by the Yankees from the Cubs in April when Rick Cerrone was hurt, swinging and missing at a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Quickly 0-2. Cynthia Howe.
She's not nervous.
No.
And I think I see Bobby Mercer with a bat in the Yankee dugout, so we may see him yet.
Pitcher spot due up next. 0-2 to Foote. Got it and made it look easy. Steve Howe blows away Foote on 3 pitches.
Right on the outside corner, up and away.
Just 3 pitches. And here is this smallish professional through all the years. And maybe he won't hit a home run, but he's a great contact hitter. Lefty, righty, I don't care.
Bobby Mercer, for the 3rd time in this series, appearing as a pinch hitter, and this time he is not up there to bunt. Bunting his first 2 appearances as a pinch hitter. One successfully, and then last night bunting into the double play, and coming up here with 2 out. The tying run Cerrone at first base, with the Dodgers leading 8-7 in the 9th.
You show me what's bad about that average against lefties, 292. Again, maybe he won't do it now, but I don't know.
Andre Robertson, meanwhile, comes into pinch run for Cerrone.
Number 55.
Very interesting.
That's
right
what
there.
Jim Palmer was talking about with Bobby Mercer. He comes over, and he's not that troublesome for left-handed hitters. It's exactly what Jim just said.
Well, we saw I think the most trouble that left-handers have is that, as we saw in Barry Foote, he made a good pitch on the outside part of the plate. That same pitch to a left-handed hitter is not a good pitch, because most left-handed hitters will open up because they're kind of what they call bailing out. And the ball, if it's on the inside part of the plate, is much easier to hit than the one away.
So Bobby Mercer ready to stand in with Nettles unavailable. Rodriguez, of course, out of the game. Lemon would have some decisions to make defensively if the Yankees tie it or go ahead, but he'll worry about that later.
1-0. And there you saw a fastball inside. For Howe to be successful, he's going to have to get the ball away from Bobby Mercer, preferably on the outside corner or somewhere in that area.
A good part of the crowd standing with 2 out. The 1-0 pitch is inside again, and the count 2-0 on Mercer. Willie Randolph on deck. Robertson pinch running for Cerrone at first. 2 out. Mercer hits a slow bouncer to Garvey, who drops it, throws to the pitcher covering, not in time. Yeager will argue that call, as will Howe. So the Dodgers come that close to ending it, but the Yankees are still breathing. And Willie Randolph will be coming up with a tying run at second.
This game is unbelievable.
Well, Bobby tops a high chopper. Garvey knocks it down. If Howe gets to the base, as you'll see, and he's stationary, but his foot's off the base. Again, as I said last night, it's a play you do every day in spring training. It's kind of boring while you're doing it, but it can be very important when it comes to winning ball games. And you see, doesn't really know where his feet are. In that situation, you want to get to the base as quick as you can and be able to stretch out on balance. As it was, he wasn't able to do that.
After that last one, it looked like a good call. What a crazy game.
So here's Randolph tying run at second. Outside, ball 1. 1-0. That has been scored as an error on Howe.
So far, this is, in the terms of history, like the 47 series between these two teams and the 55.
Randolph fouling it back, and the count is 1-1.
Talk about classic confrontations. You have a fastball pitcher on the mound. He's been throwing most of his fastballs up in the strike zone. And the pitch that Willie Randolph likes to hit is a high fastball.
Robertson at second. Mercer at first. Randolph lifts a high fly ball to deep right center field, but Darryl Thomas moves back and makes the catch.
It was like a great fight with shifting tides and ebb and flow. And one had the sense that somehow the Dodgers would come back, trailing initially 4-0, then 4-3, then 6-3. They tied it at 6-6. They went ahead at 8-6. A Reggie Jackson homer made it a 1-run game at 8-7. Then this final threat. And maybe now, with the game started 2-2, the realization setting in that this may be a year of destiny for the Dodgers and not the Yankees. A team of character, a team that won't quit. Well, very well managed today by Tom Lasorda. The Yankee effort just in tatters with mistakes. So there it was, Al.
8 runs, 14 hits, 2 errors for the Dodgers, 7 runs, 13 hits, and 1 error for the Yankees. The series now even at 2 games apiece. Game 5 coming up tomorrow. And we remind you to be with us on ABC, beginning with a New York City Marathon tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern and Pacific Time, 9:30 Central. Then at 4 Eastern Time, Sports Beat, and at 4:30 Eastern Time, game number 5 of the 1981 World Series, live on ABC. The blip provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Travel arrangements made through a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about. Today's game has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.